Chapter 56. Fighting for the cause of Allah, Jihad. Chapter 1. The superiority of Jihad. Narrated Abdullah bin Masud. I asked Allah's Messenger, O Allah's Messenger, what is the best deed? He replied, to offer the prayers at their early stated fixed times. I asked, what is next in goodness? He replied, to be good and dutiful to your parents. I further asked, what is next in goodness? He replied, to participate in jihad in Allah's cause. I did not ask Allah's Messenger any more, and if I had asked him more, he would have told me more. Narrated Ibn Abbas. Allah's Messenger said, there is no hijrah, migration from Mecca to Medina after the conquest of Mecca, but jihad and good intention remain, and if you are called by the Muslim ruler for fighting, go forth immediately. Narrated Aisha, that she said, O Allah's Messenger, we consider jihad as the best deed. Should we not fight in Allah's cause? He said, the best jihad for women is Hajj Mabrur, Hajj which is done according to the Prophet's tradition and is accepted by Allah. Narrated Abu Hurairah. A man came to Allah's Messenger and said, instruct me as to such a deed as equals jihad in reward. He replied, I do not find such a deed. Then he added, can you, while the Muslim fighter is in the battlefield, enter your mosque to perform prayers without cease, and fast and never break your fast? The man said, but who can do that? Abu Hurairah added, the mujahid, Muslim fighter, is rewarded even for the footsteps of his horse while it wanders about for grazing tied in a long rope. Chapter 2. Striving with both life and property. Narrated Abu Sa'id al-Khudri. Somebody asked, O Allah's Messenger, who is the best among the people? Allah's Messenger replied, a believer who strives his utmost in Allah's cause with his life and property. They asked, who is next? He replied, a believer who stays in one of the mountain paths, worshipping Allah and leaving the people secure from his mischief. Narrated Abu Hurairah. I heard Allah's Messenger saying, the example of a mujahid in Allah's cause, and Allah knows better who really strives in his cause, is like a person who fasts and prays continuously. Allah guarantees that he will admit the mujahid in his cause into paradise if he is killed. Otherwise he will return him to his home safely with rewards and war booty. Chapter 3. The invocation that Allah may let adorn with martyrdom. Narrated Anas bin Malik. Allah's Messenger used to visit Haram bint Milhan, who would offer him meals. Haram was the wife of Ubadah bin As-Samit. Allah's Messenger once visited her, and she provided him with food and started looking for lice in his head. Then Allah's Messenger slept and afterwards woke up smiling. Haram asked, what causes you to smile, O Allah's Messenger? He said, some of my followers who in a dream were presented before me as fighters in Allah's cause on board a ship amidst this sea caused me to smile. They were as kings on the thrones, or like kings on the thrones. Ishaq, a sub-narrator, is not sure as to which expression the Prophet used. Haram said, "O Allah's Messenger, invoke Allah that He makes me one of them." Allah's Messenger invoked Allah for her and slept again, and woke up smiling. Once again, Haram asked, "What makes you smile, O Allah's Messenger?" He replied, "Some of my followers were presented to me as fighters in Allah's cause, repeating the same dream." Haram said, "O Allah's Messenger, invoke Allah that He makes me one of them." He said, "You are amongst the first ones." It happened that she sailed on the sea during the caliphate of Muawiyah bin Abi Sufyan, and after she disembarked, she fell down from a riding animal and died. Chapter 4. The grades of the Mujahideen. Narrated Abu Huraira. The Prophet said, "Whoever believes in Allah and His Apostle, offers prayer perfectly and fasts the month of Ramadan will rightfully be granted paradise by Allah, no matter whether he fights in Allah's cause or remains in the land where he is born." The people said, "O Allah's Messenger, shall we acquaint the people with this good news?" He said, "Paradise has 100 grades which Allah has reserved for the Mujahideen who fight in His cause, and the distance between each of 2 grades is like the distance between the heaven and the earth." So when you ask Allah for something, ask for Al-Firdaus, which is the best and highest part of paradise. The sub-narrator added, "I think the Prophet also said, above it, Al-Firdaus is the throne of beneficent, Allah, and from it originate the rivers of paradise." Narrated Samura. The Prophet said, "Last night 2 men came to me in a dream and made me ascend a tree, and then admitted me into a better and superior house, better of which I have never seen." One of them said, "This house is the house of martyrs." Chapter 5. To proceed in Allah's cause. Narrated Anas bin Malik. The Prophet said, "A single endeavor of fighting in Allah's cause in the forenoon or in the afternoon is better than the world and whatever is in it." Narrated Abu Huraira. The Prophet said, "A place in paradise as small as a bow is better than all that, on which the sun rises and sets, all the world." He also said, "A single endeavor in Allah's cause in the afternoon or in the forenoon is better than all that on which the sun rises and sets." Narrated Sahl bin Sa'd. The Prophet said, "A single endeavor in Allah's cause in the afternoon and in the forenoon is better than the world and whatever is in it." Chapter 6. Al-Hurul Ain. Narrated Anas bin Malik. The Prophet said, "Nobody who dies and finds good from Allah in the hereafter would wish to come back to this world, even if he were given the whole world and whatever is in it, except the martyr who, on seeing the superiority of martyrdom, would like to come back to the world and get killed again in Allah's cause." Narrated Anas. The Prophet said, "A single endeavor of fighting in Allah's cause in the afternoon or in the forenoon is better than all the world and whatever is in it." a place in paradise as small as the bow or lash of one of you is better than all the world and whatever is in it. And if a houri from paradise appeared to the people of the earth, she would fill the space between heaven and the earth with light and pleasant scent, and her head cover is better than the world and whatever is in it. Chapter 7. The Wish for Martyrdom. Narrated Abu Huraira. The Prophet said, "By him in whose hands my life is, were it not for some men amongst the believers who dislike to be left behind me, and whom I cannot provide with means of conveyance, I would certainly never remain behind any Sharia army unit setting out in Allah's cause. By him in whose hands my life is, I would love to be martyred in Allah's cause, and then get resurrected, and then get martyred, and then get resurrected again, and then get martyred, and then get resurrected again, and then get martyred." Narrated Anas bin Malik. The Prophet delivered a sermon and said, "Said took the flag and was martyred, and then Jafar took the flag and was martyred. And then Abdullah bin Rawaha took the flag and was martyred too. And then Khalid bin al-Walid took the flag, though he was not appointed as a commander, and Allah made him victorious." The Prophet further added, "It will not please us to have them with us." Ayub, a sub-narrator, added, or the Prophet, shedding tears, said, "It will not please them to be with us." Chapter 8. The superiority of him who goes in Allah's cause and dies on the way. Narrated Anas bin Malik. Haram said, "Once the Prophet slept in my house near to me and got up smiling. I said, 'What makes you smile?' He replied, 'Some of my followers who, in a dream, were presented to me sailing on this green sea like kings on thrones.' I said, 'O Allah's Messenger, invoke Allah to make me one of them.' So the Prophet invoked Allah for her and went to sleep again. He did the same. He got up and told his dream, and Haran repeated her question, and he gave the same reply. She said, 'Invoke Allah to make me one of them.' He said, 'You are among the first batch.' Later on it happened that she went out in the company of her husband, Ubadah bin As-Samit, who went for Jihaad, and it was the first time the Muslims undertook a naval expedition led by Muawiyah. When the expedition came to an end and they were returning to Sham, a riding animal was presented to her to ride, but the animal let her fall, and thus she died. Chapter 9. The reward of the injured in Allah's cause. Narrated Anas. The Prophet sent 70 men from the tribe of Bani Salim to the tribe of Bani Amir. When they reached there, my maternal uncle said to them, "I will go ahead of you, and if they allow me to convey the message of Allah's Messenger, it will be all right. Otherwise you will remain close to me." So he went ahead of them, and the pagans granted him security. But while he was reporting the message of the Prophet, they beckoned to one of their men, who stabbed him to death. My maternal uncle said, "Allah is greater. By the Lord of the Kaaba, I am successful." After that, they attached the rest of the party and killed them all except a lame man who went up to the top of the mountain. Hammam, a sub-narrator, said, "I think another man was saved along with him. Gabriel informed the Prophet that they, the martyrs, met their Lord, and he was pleased with them, and made them pleased. We used to recite, inform our people that we have met our Lord. He is pleased with us, and he has made us pleased. Later on, this Quranic verse was cancelled. The Prophet invoked Allah for 40 days to curse the murderers from the tribe of Ral, Dakwan, Bani Lihian, and Bam Usayya, who disobeyed Allah and His Apostle. Narrated Jundab bin Sufyan. In one of the holy battles, a finger of Allah's messenger got wounded and bled. He said, "You are just a finger that bled, and what you got is in Allah's cause." Chapter 10. The superiority of the wounded in Allah's cause. Narrated Abu Huraira. Allah's messenger said, "By him in whose hands my soul is, whoever is wounded in Allah's cause, and Allah knows well who gets wounded in his cause, will come on the day of resurrection with his wound, having the color of blood, but the scent of musk." Chapter 11. The statement of Allah Azza wa Jal. Say, do you wait for us except one of the two best things, martyrdom or victory? Narrated Abdullah bin Abbas. That Abu Sufyan told him that Heracles said to him, "I asked you about the outcome of your battle with him, the Prophet, and you told me that you fought each other with alternate success. So the apostles are tested in this way, but the ultimate victory is always theirs." Chapter 12. The statement of Allah Azza wa Jal. Among the believers are men who have been true to their covenant with Allah. Narrated Anas. My uncle Anas bin Nadir was absent from the battle of Badr. He said, "O Allah's messenger, I was absent from the first battle you fought against the pagans. By Allah, if Allah gives me a chance to fight the pagans, no doubt Allah will see how bravely I will fight." On the day of Uhud, when the Muslims turned their backs and fled, he said, "O Allah, I apologize to you for what his companions have done, and I denounce what the pagans have done." Then he advanced, and Sa'd bin Mu'ad met him. He said, "O Sa'd bin Mu'ad, by the Lord of another paradise, I am smelling its aroma coming from before the mountain of Uhud." Later on, Sa'd said, "O Allah's Apostle, I cannot achieve or do what Anas bin Nadir did. We found more than 80 wounds by swords and Arabs on his body. We found him dead, and his body was mutilated so badly that none except his sister could recognize him by his fingers. We used to think that the following verse was revealed concerning him and other men of his sort. Among the believers are men who have been true to their covenant with Allah." 33:20-23. His sister Ar-Rubayah broke a front tooth of a woman, and Allah's messenger ordered for retaliation. On that, Anas bin Nadir said, "O Allah's messenger, by him who has sent you with the truth, my sister's tooth shall not be broken." Then the opponents of Anas' sister accepted the compensation and gave up the claim of retaliation. So Allah's messenger said, "There are some people amongst Allah's slaves whose oaths are fulfilled by Allah when they take them." Narrated Kharija bin Said. Said bin Thabit said, "When the Quran was compiled from various written manuscripts, one of the verses of Surat al-Asab was missing. which I used to hear Allah's Messenger reciting. I could not find it except with Qusayma bin Tabjit al-Ansari, whose witness Allah's Messenger regarded as equal to the witness of two men, and the verse was, "Among the believers are men who have been true to what they covenanted with Allah." 33:23. Chapter 13. Practicing good deeds before taking part in a battle. Narrated Al-Bara. A man whose face was covered with an iron mask, yet clad in armor, came to the Prophet and said, "O Allah's Messenger, shall I fight or embrace Islam first?" The Prophet said, "Embrace Islam first and then fight." So he embraced Islam and was martyred. Allah's Messenger said, "A little work but a great reward. He did very little after embracing Islam, but he will be rewarded in abundance." Chapter 14. Whoever is killed by an arrow. Narrated Anas bin Malik. Ar-Rubay bint al-Bara, the mother of Harta bin Siraka, came to the Prophet and said, "O Allah's Prophet, will you tell me about Harta? Harta has been killed, martyred, on the day of Badr with an arrow thrown by an unidentified person." She added, "If he is in paradise, I will be patient. Otherwise, I will weep bitterly for him." He said, "O mother of Harta, there are gardens in paradise, and your son got the Firdawsal, Allah, the best place in paradise." Chapter 15. Whoever fights so that Allah's word be superior. Narrated Abu Musa. A man came to the Prophet and asked, "A man fights for war booty, another fights for fame, and a third fights for showing off. Which of them fights in Allah's cause?" The Prophet said, "He who fights that Allah's word, Islam, should be superior, fights in Allah's cause." Chapter 16. Whose feet get covered with dust in Allah's cause. Narrated Abu Abs. Who is Abdur Rahman bin Jabir? Allah's Messenger said, "Anyone whose both feet get covered with dust in Allah's cause will not be touched by the hellfire." Chapter 17. The dust which falls on head in Allah's cause. Narrated Ikrimah. That Ibn Abbas told him and Ali bin Abdullah to go to Abu Sa'id and listen to some of his narrations. So they both went and saw Abu Sa'id and his brother irrigating a garden belonging to them. When he saw them, he came up to them and sat down with his legs drawn up and wrapped in his garment and said, "During the construction of the mosque of the Prophet, we carried the adobe of the mosque, one brick at a time, while Ammar used to carry two at a time. The Prophet passed by Ammar and removed the dust of his head and said, 'May Allah be merciful to Ammar. He will be killed by a rebellious, aggressive group. Ammar will invite them to obey Allah, and they will invite him to the hellfire.'" Chapter 18. To take a bath after fighting. Narrated Aisha. When Allah's Messenger returned on the day of the battle of Al-Khandaq, trench, he put down his arms and took a bath. Then Gabriel, whose head was covered with dust, came to him saying, "You have put down your arms. By Allah, I have not put down my arms yet." Allah's Messenger said, "Where to go now?" Gabriel said, this way, pointing towards the tribe of Bani Qurayza. So Allah's Messenger went out towards them. Chapter 19. The statement of Allah Ta'ala, think not of those who are killed in the way of Allah as dead. Narrated Anas bin Malik, for 30 days Allah's Messenger invoked Allah to curse those who had killed the companions of Bir Mavna. He invoked evil upon the tribes of Ral, Dakwan and Usayya, who disobeyed Allah and His Apostle. There was revealed about those who were killed at Bir Mavna a Quranic verse we used to recite, but it was cancelled later on. The verse was, inform our people that we have met our Lord. He is pleased with us and He has made us pleased. Narrated Jabir bin Abdullah. Some people drank alcohol in the morning of the day of the Battle of Uhud and were martyred on the same day. Sufyan was asked, were they martyred in the last part of the day? He replied, such information does not occur in the narration. Chapter 20. The shade of angels on the martyr. Narrated Jabir. My father's mutilated body was brought to the Prophet and was placed in front of him. I went to uncover his face, but my companions forbade me. Then mourning cries of a lady were heard, and it was said that she was either the daughter or the sister of Amr. The Prophet said, why is she crying? Or said, do not cry, for the angels are still shading him with their wings. Al-Bukhari asked Sadqa, a sub-narrator, does the narration include the expression till he was lifted? The latter replied, Jabir may have said it. Chapter 21. The wish of the Mujahid to return to the world. Narrated Anas bin Malik. The Prophet said, nobody who enters paradise likes to go back to the world, even if he got everything on the earth, except a Mujahid who wishes to return to the world, so that he may be martyred 10 times because of the dignity he received from Allah. Chapter 22. Paradise is under the blades of swords. Narrated Al-Mughira bin Shuba. Our Prophet told us about the message of our Lord, that whoever amongst us is killed will go to paradise. Umar asked the Prophet, is it not true that our men who are killed will go to paradise, and yet those of the pagans will go to the hellfire? The Prophet said, yes. Narrated Abdullah bin Abu Awfa. Allah's Messenger said, know that paradise is under the shades of swords. Chapter 23. Who wishes to beget a son to send for Jihad? Narrated Abu Huraira. Allah's Messenger said, once Solomon, son of David, said, by Allah, tonight I will have sexual intercourse with 100 or 99 women, each of whom will give birth to a knight who will fight in Allah's cause. On that, if Allah wills, but He did not say Allah willing. Therefore, only one of those women conceived and gave birth to a half man. By him in whose hands Muhammad's life is, if he had said, Allah willing, he would have begotten sons, all of whom would have been knights striving in Allah's cause. Chapter 24. Bravery and cowardice in the battle. Narrated Anas. The Prophet was the best, the bravest and the most generous of all the people. Once when the people of Medina got frightened, the Prophet rode a horse and went ahead of them and said, we found this horse very fast. Narrated Muhammad bin Jubair. Jubair bin Mutim told me that while he was in the company of Allah's Messenger, with the people returning from Hunain. Some people, Bedouins, caught hold of the Prophet and started begging of him, so much so that he had to stand under a kind of thorny tree, Samura, and his cloak was snatched away. The Prophet stopped and said, "Give me my cloak. If I had as many camels as these thorny trees, I would have distributed them amongst you, and you will not find me a miser or a liar or a coward." Chapter 25. Seeking refuge with Allah from cowardice. Narrated Amr bin Maymun al-Awdi. Saad used to teach his sons the following words, as a teacher teaches his students the skill of writing, and he used to say that Allah's Messenger used to seek refuge with Allah from them, the evils. At the end of every prayer, the words are, "O Allah, I seek refuge with you from cowardice, and seek refuge with you from being brought back to a bad stage of old life, and seek refuge with you from the afflictions of the world, and seek refuge with you from the punishments in the grave." Narrated Anas bin Malik. The Prophet used to say, "O Allah, I seek refuge with you from helplessness, laziness, cowardice, and feeble old age. I seek refuge with you from afflictions of life and death, and seek refuge with you from the punishment in the grave." Chapter 26. Whoever described what he has witnessed in the war. Narrated As-Sa'ib bin Yazid. I was in the company of Talha bin Ubaydullah, Saad al-Miqdad bin al-Aswad, and Abdur Rahman bin Auf, and I heard none of them narrating anything from Allah's Messenger, but Talha was talking about the day of the battle of Uhud. Chapter 27. The obligation of going out for Jihad. Narrated Ibn Abbas. On the day of the conquest of Mecca, the Prophet said, "There is no emigration after the conquest but jihad and intentions. When you are called by the Muslim ruler for fighting, go forth immediately." See Hadith number 42. Chapter 28. A disbeliever kills a Muslim and later on embraces Islam. Narrated Abu Hurairah. Allah's Messenger said, "Allah welcomes two men with a smile, one of whom killed the other, and both of them enter paradise. One fights in Allah's cause and gets killed. Later on, Allah forgives the killer, who also gets martyred in Allah's cause." Narrated Abu Hurairah. I went to Allah's Messenger while he was at Khaybar after it had fallen in the Muslims' hands. I said, "O Allah's Messenger, give me a share from the land of Khaybar." One of the sons of Sa'id bin al-As said, "O Allah's Messenger, do not give him a share." I said, "This is the murderer of Ibn Kavkal." The son of Sa'id bin al-As said, "Strange, a Wabr, a Genia pig, who has come down to us from the mountain of Kadum, a grazing place of sheep, blames me for killing a Muslim who was given superiority by Allah because of me, and Allah did not disgrace me at his hands, yet was not killed as an infidel." The sub-narrator said, "I do not know whether the Prophet gave him a share or not." Chapter 29. Whoever preferred jihad to sawm, fasting. Narrated Anas bin Malik. In the lifetime of the Prophet, Abu Talha did not fast because of the jihad, but after the Prophet died, I never saw him without fasting except on Eid ul-Fitr and Id ul Aklah. Chapter 30. There are 7 martyrs other than killed in Jihad. Narrated Abu Huraira. Allah's Messenger said, 5 are regarded as martyrs. They are those who die because of plague, abdominal disease, drowning, or of falling building, etc., and the martyrs in Allah's cause. Narrated Anas bin Malik. The Prophet said, plague is a cause of martyrdom of every Muslim who dies because of it. Chapter 31. The statement of Allah Azza wa Jal. Not equal are those of the believers who sit at home. Narrated Al-Bara. When the divine inspiration, those of the believers who sit at home, was revealed, the Prophet sent for Zayd bin Thabit, who came with a shoulder blade and wrote on it. Ibn Maktum complained about his blindness, and on that the following revelation came. Not equal are those believers who sit at home, except those who are disabled by injury, or are blind or lame, etc., and those who strive hard and fight in the way of Allah with their wealth and lives. 495. Narrated Sal bin Sa'd as-Sa'idi. I saw Marwan bin al-Hakam sitting in the mosque, so I came forward and sat by his side. He told us that Zayd bin Thabit had told him that Allah's Messenger had dictated to him the divine verse, not equal are those believers who sit at home, and those who strive hard and fight in the cause of Allah with their wealth and lives. 495. Zayd said, Ibn Maktum came to the Prophet while he was dictating to me that very verse. On that Ibn Maktum said, O Allah's Messenger, if I had power, I would surely take part in Jihad. He was a blind man, so Allah sent down revelation to his apostle while his thigh was on mine, and it became so heavy for me that I feared that my thigh would be broken. Then that state of the Prophet was over after Allah revealed, except those who are disabled by injury or are blind or lame, etc. 495. Chapter 32. Patience during fighting. Narrated Salim Abu Nadir. Abdullah bin Abi Ayufa wrote, and I read what he wrote, that Allah's Messenger said, when you face them, your enemy, then be patient. Chapter 33. Rousing and exhorting people to fight. Narrated Anas. Allah's Messenger went towards the Khandrak, trench, and saw the emigrants and the Ansar digging in a very cold morning, as they did not have slaves to do that for them. When he noticed their fatigue and hunger, he said, O Allah, the real life is that of the hereafter, so please forgive the Ansar and the emigrants. In its reply, the emigrants and the Ansar said, we are those who have given a pledge of allegiance to Muhammad, that we will carry on Jihad as long as we live. Chapter 34. The digging of the Khandaq trench. Narrated Anas. The emigrants and the Ansar started digging the trench around Medina, carrying the earth on their backs and saying, we are those who have given a pledge of allegiance to Muhammad, that we will carry on Jihad as long as we live. The Prophet kept on replying, O Allah, there is no good except the good of the hereafter, so confer your blessings on the Ansar and the emigrants. Narrated Al-Bara. The Prophet went on carrying the earth, and saying, "Without you, O Allah, we will have got no guidance." Narrated Al-Bara. On the day of the battle of Al-Asab, clans, I saw the Prophet carrying earth, and the earth was covering the whiteness of his abdomen, and he was saying, "Without you, O Allah, we will have got no guidance, nor given in charity, nor prayed. So please bless us with tranquility, and make firm our feet when we meet our enemies. Indeed, these people have rebelled against, oppressed us, but never shall we yield if they try to bring affliction upon us." Chapter 35. Whoever is held back from Jihad by a legal cause. Narrated Anas. We returned from the Ghazwa of Tabuk along with the Prophet. See Hadith number 92 below. Narrated Anas. While the Prophet was in a Ghazwa, he said, "Some people have remained behind us in Medina, and we never crossed a mountain path or a valley. But they were with us, sharing the reward with us, as they have been held back by a legal excuse." Chapter 36. The superiority of observing Sawm in Allah's cause. Narrated Abu Sa'id. I heard a Prophet saying, "Indeed, anyone who fasts for one day for Allah's pleasure, Allah will keep his face away from the hellfire for a distance covered by a journey of 70 years. Chapter 37. The superiority of spending in Allah's cause. Narrated Abu Hurairah. The Prophet said, "Whoever spends two things in Allah's cause will be called by all the gatekeepers of paradise, who will be saying, 'O so and so, come here.' Abu Bakr said, 'O Allah's Messenger, such persons will never be destroyed.' The Prophet said, 'I hope you will be one of them.'" Narrated Abu Sa'id al-Khudri. Allah's Messenger ascended the pulpit and said, "Nothing worries me as to what will happen to you after me, except the temptation of worldly blessings, which will be conferred on you." Then he mentioned the worldly pleasures. He started with the one he had the blessings and took up the other he had the pleasures. A man got up saying, "O Allah's Messenger, can the good bring about evil?" The Prophet remained silent, and we thought that he was being inspired divinely. So all the people kept silent with awe. Then the Prophet wiped the sweat off his face and asked, "Where is the present questioner? Do you think wealth is good?" He repeated thrice, adding, "No doubt, good produces nothing but good. Indeed, it is like what grows on the banks of a stream, which either kills or nearly kills the grazing animals because of gluttony, except the vegetation, eating animal, which eats till both its flanks are full, till it gets satisfied, and then stands in the sun and defecates and urinates and again starts grazing. This worldly property is sweet vegetation. How excellent the wealth of the Muslim is, if it is collected through legal means and is spent in Allah's cause, and on orphans, poor people, and travelers. But he who does not take it legally is like an eater who is never satisfied, and his wealth will be a witness against him on the day of resurrection." Chapter 38. The superiority of the one who prepares a ghazi or looks after his dependents. Narrated Sayyid bin Khalid. Allah's Messenger said, "He who prepares a ghazi going in Allah's cause is given a reward equal to that of a ghazi, and he who looks after properly the dependents of a ghazi going in Allah's cause is given a reward equal to that of ghazi." Narrated Anas. The Prophet used not to enter any house in Medina except the house of Sulaim, besides those of his wives. When he was asked why, he said, I take pity on her, as her brother was killed in my company. Chapter 39. To apply Hanit during the battle. Narrated Ibn Awn. Once Musa bin Anas, while describing the battle of Yamama, said, Anas bin Malik went to Thabit bin Qaus, who had lifted his clothes from his thighs and was applying hunut to his body. Anas asked, O uncle, what is holding you back from the battle? He replied, O my nephew, I am coming just now, and went on perfuming himself with hunut. Then he came and sat in the row. Anas then mentioned that the people fled from the battlefield. On that, Thabit said, Clear the way for me to fight the enemy. We will never do so, ye flee, in the company of Allah's Messenger. How bad the habits you have acquired from your enemies. Chapter 40. The superiority of the reconnoiterer. Narrated Jabir. The Prophet said, Who will bring me the information about the enemy on the day of the battle of Al-Asab, ye clans? As-Zubayr said, I will. The Prophet said again, Who will bring me the information about the enemy? As-Zubayr said again, I will. The Prophet said, Every Prophet had a disciple, and my disciple is As-Zubayr. Chapter 41. Can the reconnoiterer be sent alone? Narrated Jabir bin Abdullah. When the Prophet called the people Sadqa, some narrators said, Most probably that happened on the day of Al-Khandaq. As-Zubayr responded to the call, yet to act as a reconnoiter. The Prophet called the people again, and As-Zubayr responded to the call. The Prophet then said, Every Prophet had a disciple, and my disciple is Zubayr bin al-Awam. Chapter 42. The traveling of two persons together. Narrated Malik bin al-Huwairit. On my departure from the Prophet, he said to me and to a friend of mine, You two pronounce the Adhan and the Iqama for the prayer, and let the elder of you lead the prayer. Chapter 43. Good will remain in forelocks of horses. Narrated Abdullah bin Umar. Allah's Messenger said, Good will remain as a permanent quality in the foreheads of horses till the day of resurrection. Narrated Urwa bin Jad. The Prophet said, Good will remain as a permanent quality in the foreheads of horses till the day of resurrection. Narrated Anas bin Malik. Allah's Messenger said, There is a blessing in the foreheads of horses. Chapter 44. Jihad is to be carried on whether the Muslim ruler is good or bad. Narrated Urwa al-Bariki. The Prophet said, Good will remain as a permanent quality in the foreheads of horses for jihad till the day of resurrection, for they bring about either a reward in the hereafter or war booty in this world. Chapter 45. Keeping a horse for jihad. Narrated Abu Hurairah. The Prophet said, If somebody keeps a horse in Allah's cause, motivated by his faith in Allah and his belief in his promise, then he will be rewarded on the day of resurrection for what the horse has been for what the horse has eaten or drunk, and for its dung and urine. Chapter 46. To name a horse and a donkey. Narrated Abdullah bin Abi Qatada. From his father, Abi Qatada went out on a journey with Allah's messenger, but he was left behind with some of his companions who were in the state of Iram. He himself was not in the state of Iram. They saw an opener before he could see it. When they saw the opener, they did not speak anything till Abu Qatada saw it. So he rode over his horse called Al-Jarada and requested them to give him his lash. But they refused, so he himself took it and then attacked the opener and slaughtered it. He ate of its meat, and his companions ate too, but they regretted their eating. When they met the Prophet, they asked him about it, and he asked, "Have you some of its meat left with you?" Abu Qatada replied, "Yes, we have its leg with us." So the Prophet took and ate it. Narrated Sal. In our garden there was a horse belonging to the Prophet called Al-Luhayf or Al-Laqif. Narrated Muad. I was a companion rider of the Prophet on a donkey called Ufayr. The Prophet asked, O Muad, do you know what Allah's right on his slaves is, and what the right of his slaves on him is? I replied, Allah and his apostle know better. He said, Allah's right on his slaves is that they should worship him alone, and should not worship any besides him. And slaves' right on Allah is that he should not punish him who worships none besides him. I said, O Allah's messenger, should I not inform the people of this good news? He said, do not inform them of it, lest they should depend on it absolutely. Narrated Anas bin Malik. Once there was a feeling of fright in Medina, so the Prophet borrowed a horse belonging to us called Mandub, and he rode away on it. When the Prophet returned, he said, I have not seen anything of fright, and I found this horse very fast. Chapter 47. What has been said about the evil omen of a horse. Narrated Abdullah bin Umar. I heard the Prophet saying, evil omen is in three things, the horse, the woman, and the house. Narrated Sahl bin Saud Sa'idi. Allah's messenger said, if there is any evil omen in anything, then it is in the woman, the horse, and the house. Chapter 48. Horses are kept for three purposes. Narrated Abu Huraira. Allah's messenger said, horses are kept for one of three purposes. For some people they are a source of reward, for some others they are a means of shelter, and for some others they are a source of sins. The one for whom they are a source of reward is he who keeps a horse for Allah's cause, a Jihaad, tying it with a long tether on a meadow or in a garden, with the result that whatever it eats from the area of the meadow or the garden where it is tied with will be counted as good deeds for its benefit. And if it should break its rope and jump over one or two hillocks, then all its dung and its foot marks will be written as good deeds for him. And if it passes by a river and drinks water from it, even though he had no intention of watering it, even then he will get the reward for its drinking. As for the man for whom horses are a source of sins, he is the one who keeps a horse for the sake of pride and pretense, and showing an enmity for Muslims. Such a horse will be a source of sins, for him. When Allah's messenger was asked about donkeys, he replied, "Nothing has been revealed to me about them except this unique, comprehensive verse. Then anyone who does an atom's or a small ant's weight of good shall see it, and anyone who does an atom's or a small ant's weight of evil shall see it." 101, 7 and 8. Chapter 49. Whoever beats somebody else's animal during the battle, intending to help its rider. Narrated Muslim from Abu Aqil from Abu al-Mutawakil al-Naji. I called on Jabir bin Abdullah al-Ansari and said to him, "Relate to me what you have heard from Allah's messenger." He said, "I accompanied him on one of the journeys." Abu Aqil said, "I do not know whether that journey was for the purpose of Jihad or Umrah." When we were returning, Jabir continued, "The Prophet said, whoever wants to return earlier to his family should hurry up." We set off, and I was on a black red tainted camel, having no defect, and the people were behind me. While I was in that state, the camel stopped suddenly because of exhaustion. On that the Prophet said to me, "O Jabir, wait." Then he hit it once with his lash, and it started moving on a fast pace. He then said, "Will you sell the camel?" I replied in the affirmative when we reached Medina, and the Prophet went to the mosque along with his companions. I too went to him after tying the camel on the pavement at the mosque gate. Then I said to him, "This is your camel." He came out and started examining the camel and saying, "The camel is yours, the camel is ours." Then the Prophet sent some awak, an amount of gold, saying, "Give it to Jabir." Then he asked, "Have you taken the full price of the camel?" I replied in the affirmative. He said, "Both the price and the camel are for you." Chapter 50. Riding on an unmanageable animal or a stallion horse. Narrated Anas bin Malik. There was a feeling of fright in Medina, so the Prophet borrowed a horse called Mandub belonging to Abu Talha and mounted it. On his return, he said, "I did not see anything of fright, and I found this horse very fast." Chapter 51. The share of the horse from the booty. Narrated Ibn Umar. Allah's messenger fixed 2 shares for the horse and 1 share for its rider from the war booty. Chapter 52. Leading somebody else's animal during the battle. Narrated Abu Ishaq. Somebody asked Al-Bara bin Asib, "Did you flee deserting Allah's messenger during the battle of Hunain?" Al-Bara replied, "But Allah's messenger did not flee. The people of the tribe of Hawasin were good archers. When we met them, we attacked them, and they fled. When the Muslims started collecting the war booty, the pagans faced us with Arabs. But Allah's messenger did not flee." No doubt, I saw him on his white mule, and Abu Sufyan was holding its reins. And the Prophet was saying, "I am the Prophet. In truth, I am the son of Abdul Muttalib." Chapter 53. The saddle and the stirrup of an animal. Narrated Ibn Umar. When the Prophet put his feet in the stirrup, and the she-camel got up carrying him, he will start reciting Talbiyah at the mosque of Dhul Hulayfa. Chapter 54. The riding of an unsaddled horse. Narrated Anas. The Prophet met them, the people, while he was riding an unsaddled horse with his sword slung over his shoulder. Chapter 55. A slow horse. Narrated Anas bin Malik. Once the people of Medina were frightened, so the Prophet rode a horse belonging to Abu Talha, and it ran slowly, or was of narrow paces. When he returned, he said, "I found your Abu Talha's horse very fast." After that, the horse could not be surpassed in running. Chapter 56. Horse races. Narrated Abdullah bin Umar. The Prophet arranged for a horse race amongst the horses that had been made lean to take place between Al-Hafiyah and Taniyat al-Wada, names of two places, and the horses which had not been mad, lean from Taniyat to the mosque of Bani Suraik. I was also amongst those who took part in that horse race. Sufyan, a sub-narrator, said, "The distance between Al-Hafiyah and Taniya al-Wada is 5 or 6 miles, and between Taniya and the mosque of Bani Suraik is 1 mile. Chapter 57. Idmar, the preparation of horses for racing. Narrated Abdullah. The Prophet arranged for a horse race of the horses which had not been made lean. The area of the race was from At-Taniya to the mosque of Bani Suraik. The sub-narrator said, Abdullah bin Umar was amongst those who participated in that horse race. Chapter 58. The extreme limit of the race of horses. Narrated Abu Ishaq from Musa bin Uqba from Mafia from Ibn Umar, who said, Allah's Messenger arranged a horse race amongst the horses that had been made lean, letting them start from Al-Hafiyah, and their limit distance of running was up to Taniyat al-Wada. I asked Musa, what was the distance between the two places? Musa replied, 6 or 7 miles. He arranged a race of the horses which had not been made lean, sending them from Taniyat al-Wada, and their limit was up to the mosque of Bani Suraik. I asked, what was the distance between those two places? He replied, 1 mile or so. Ibn Umar was amongst those who participated in that horse race. Chapter 59. The she-camel of the Prophet sauce. Narrated Anas. The she-camel of the Prophet was called Al-Adbah. Narrated Anas. The Prophet had a she-camel called Al-Adbah, which could not be excelled in a race, who made, a sub-narrator said, or could hardly be excelled. Once a Bedouin came riding a camel below 6 years of age, which surpassed it Al-Adbah in the race. The Muslims felt it so much that the Prophet noticed their distress. He then said, it is Allah's law that He brings down whatever rises high in the world. Chapter 60. Going to holy battles on a donkey. Chapter 61. The white mule of the Prophet sauce. Narrated Amr bin al-Harith. The Prophet did not leave anything behind him after his death except a white mule, his arms, and a piece of land which he left to be given in charity. Narrated Al-Bara that a man asked him, "O Abu Umara, did you flee on the day of the battle of Hunain?" He replied, "No, by Allah, the Prophet did not flee, but the hasty people fled, and the people of the tribe of Hawazin attacked them with Arabs, while the Prophet was riding his white mule, and Abu Sufyan bin al-Harith was holding its reins, and the Prophet was saying, 'I am the Prophet in truth, I am the son of Abdul Muttalib.' Chapter 62. The Jihad of Women. Narrated Aisha, the mother of the faithful believers, I requested the Prophet, permit me to participate in Jihad, but he said, your Jihad is the performance of Hajj. Narrated Aisha, the mother of the faithful believers, the Prophet was asked by his wives about the Jihad, and he replied, the best Jihad for you is the performance of Hajj. Chapter 63. The participation of a woman in a sea battle. Narrated Anas. Allah's Messenger went to the daughter of Milhan and reclined there and slept, and then woke up smiling. She asked, O Allah's Messenger, what makes you smile? He replied, I dreamt that some people amongst my followers were sailing on the green sea in Allah's cause, resembling kings on thrones. She said, O Allah's Messenger, invoke Allah to make me one of them. He said, O Allah, let her be one of them. Then he slept again and woke up and smiled. She asked him the same question, and she gave the same reply. She said, invoke Allah to make me one of them. He replied, you will be amongst the first group of them. You will not be amongst the last. Later on, she married Ubadah bin As-Samit, and then she sailed on the sea with Bint Karasa, Muawiyah's wife, for Jihad. On her return, she mounted her riding animal, which threw her down, breaking her neck, and she died on falling down. Chapter 64. Selection of one wife to accompany in holy battles. Narrated Aisha. Whenever the Prophet intended to proceed on a journey, he used to draw lots among his wives, and would take the one upon whom the lot fell. Once before setting out for Jihad, he drew lots amongst us, and the lot came to me. So I went with the Prophet, and that happened after the revelation of the verse Hijab, wailing. Chapter 65. The Jihad of Women and their fighting along with men. Narrated Anas. On the battle of Uhud, when some people retreated and left the Prophet, I saw Aisha bint Abu Bakr and Sulaym with their robes tucked up so that the bangles around their ankles were visible, hurrying with their water skins. In another narration it is said, carrying the water skins on their backs. Then they would pour the water in the mouths of the people, and returned to fill the water skins again, and came back again to pour water in the mouths of the people. Chapter 66. The carrying of water by the woman to the people. Narrated Talaba bin Abi Malik. Umar bin al-Khattab distributed some garments amongst the women of Medina. One good garment remained, and one of those present with him said, O chief of the believers, give this garment to your wife, the granddaughter of Allah's messenger. They meant Kulthum, the daughter of Ali. Umar said, Salit has more right to have it. Salit was amongst those Ansari women who had given the pledge of allegiance to Allah's messenger. Umar said, she, Salit, used to carry the water skins for us on the day of Uhud. Chapter 67. The treatment of the wounded by the woman. Narrated Ar-Rubai bint Muawid. We were in the company of the Prophet, providing the wounded with water and treating them and bringing the killed to Medina from the battlefield. Chapter 68. The bringing back of the wounded and the killed by the woman. Narrated Ar-Rabi bint Muawid. We used to take part in holy battles with the Prophet by providing the people with water and serving them and bringing the killed and the wounded back to Medina. Chapter 69. Removing the Arab from the body. Narrated Abu Musa. Abu Amir was hit with an arrow in his knee, so I went to him and he asked me to remove the arrow. When I removed it, the water started dribbling from it. Then I went to the Prophet and told him about it. He said, O Allah, forgive Ubayd Abu Amir. Chapter 70. Vigilance during holy battles in Allah's cause. Narrated Aisha. The Prophet was a vigilant one night, and when he reached Medina, he said, Would that a pious man from my companions guard me tonight? Suddenly we heard a clatter of arms. He said, Who is that? He, the newcomer, replied, I am Sa'd bin Abi Waqqas and have come to guard you. So the Prophet slept that night. Narrated Abu Hurairah. The Prophet said, Let the slave of dinar and dirham of quantify and kamisa, money and luxurious clothes, perish, for he is pleased if these things are given to him, and if not, he is displeased. Narrated Abu Hurairah. The Prophet said, Let the slave of dinar and dirham of quantify and kamisa perish, as he is pleased if these things are given to him, and if not, he is displeased. Let such a person perish and relapse, and if he is pierced with a thorn, let him not find anyone to take it out for him. Paradise is for him who holds the reins of his house and of his horse to strive in Allah's cause, with his hair unkept and feet covered with dust. If he is appointed in the vanguard, he is perfectly satisfied with his post of guarding, and if he is appointed in the rearward, he accepts his post with satisfaction. He is so simple and unambiguous that if he asks for permission, he is not permitted, and if he intercedes, his intercession is not accepted. Chapter 71. The service during holy battles. Narrated Anas. I was in the company of Jabir bin Abdullah on a journey, and he used to serve me though he was older than I. Jarir said, I saw the Ansar doing a thing, yet showing great reverence to the Prophet, for which I have vowed that whenever I meet any of them, I will serve him. Narrated Anas bin Malik. I went along with the Prophet to Khaybar so as to serve him. Later on, when the Prophet returned, he, on seeing the Uhud mountain, said, "This is a mountain that loves us and is loved by us." Then he pointed to Medina with his hand, saying, "O Allah, I make the area which is in between Medina's two mountains a sanctuary, as Abraham made Mecca a sanctuary. O Allah, bless us in our sa and mud, units of measuring." Narrated Anas. We were with the Prophet on a journey, and the only shade one could have was the shade made by one's own garment. Those who fasted did not do any work, and those who did not fast served the camels, and brought the water on them, and treated the sick and wounded. So the Prophet said, "Today those who were not fasting took all the reward." Chapter 72. The superiority of him who carries the luggage of his companions during a journey. Narrated Abu Hurairah. The Prophet said, "Charity is obligatory every day on every joint of a human being. If one helps a person in matters concerning his riding animal by helping him to ride it, or by lifting his luggage onto it, all this will be regarded charity, a good word, and every step one takes to offer the compulsory congregational prayer is regarded as charity, and guiding somebody on the road is regarded as charity." Chapter 73. The superiority of guarding Muslims from infidels. Narrated Sal bin Sa'd as-Sa'idi. Allah's Messenger said, "To guard Muslims from infidels in Allah's cause for one day is better than the world, and whatever is on its surface, and a place in paradise as small as that occupied by the whip of one of you is better than the world, and whatever is on its surface. And a morning's or an evening's journey which a slave person travels in Allah's cause is better than the world and whatever is on its surface." Chapter 74. Whoever sets off for a holy battle accompanied by a boy servant. Narrated Anas bin Malik. The Prophet said to Abu Talha, "Choose one of your boy servants to serve me in my expedition to Khaybar." So Abu Talha took me, letting me ride behind him while I was a boy, nearing the age of puberty. I used to serve Allah's Messenger when he stopped to rest. I heard him saying repeatedly, "O Allah, I seek refuge with you from distress and sorrow, from helplessness and laziness, from miserliness and cowardice, from being heavily in debt, and from being overcome by men." Then we reached Khaybar, and when Allah enabled him to conquer the fort of Khaybar, the beauty of Safiya bint Huyay bin Akhtab was described to him. Her husband had been killed while she was a bride, so Allah's Messenger selected her for himself and took her along with him till we reached a place called Sa'd as-Sabah, where her menses were over, and he took her for his wife. Haris, a kind of dish, was served on a small leather sheet. Then Allah's Messenger told me to call those who were around me, so that was the marriage banquet of Allah's Messenger and Safiya. Then we left for Medina. I saw Allah's Apostle folding a cloak round the hump of the camel, so as to make a wide space for Safiya to sit on behind him. He sat beside his camel, letting his knees for Safiya to put their feet on so as to mount the camel. Then we proceeded till we approached Medina. He looked at Uhud mountain and said, "This is a mountain which loves us and is loved by us." Then he looked at Medina and said, "O Allah, I make the area between its Medina's two mountains a sanctuary as Abraham made Mecca a sanctuary. O Allah, bless them, ye the people of Medina, in their mud and saw, ye measures. Chapter 75. To go on a sea voyage. Narrated Anas bin Malik. Haram told me that the Prophet one day took a midday nap in her house. Then he woke up smiling. Haram asked, O Allah's Messenger, what makes you smile? He replied, I was astonished to see in my dream some people amongst my followers on a sea voyage looking like kings on the thrones. She said, O Allah's Messenger, invoke Allah to make me one of them. He replied, you are amongst them. He slept again and then woke up smiling and said the same as before twice or thrice. And she said, O Allah's Messenger, invoke Allah to make me one of them. And he said, you are amongst the first batch. Ubadah bin as-Samit married her, Haram, and then he took her for Jihaad. When she returned, an animal was presented to her to ride, but she fell down and her neck was broken. Chapter 76. The help of poor and pious men in war. Narrated Musab bin Sa'd. Once Sa'd bin Abi Waqqas thought that he was superior to those who were below him in rank. On that the Prophet said, you gain no victory or livelihood except through the blessings and invocations of the poor amongst you. Narrated Abu Sa'id al-Khudri. The Prophet said, a time will come when groups of people will go for jihad, and it will be asked, is there anyone amongst you who has enjoyed the company of the Prophet? The answer will be yes. Then they will be given victory by Allah because of him. Then a time will come when it will be asked, is there anyone amongst you who has enjoyed the company of the companions of the Prophet? It will be said yes, and they will be given victory by Allah. Then a time will come when it will be said, is there anyone amongst you who has enjoyed the company of the companions of the Prophet? It will be said, yes, and they will be given victory by Allah. Chapter 77. Do not say that so and so is a martyr. Narrated Sal bin Sa'd as-Sa'idi. Allah's Messenger and the pagans faced each other and started fighting. When Allah's Messenger returned to his camp, and when the pagans returned to their camp, somebody talked about a man amongst the companions of Allah's Messenger, who would follow and kill with his sword and any pagan going alone. He said, nobody did his job yet fighting so properly today as that man. Allah's Messenger said, indeed, he is amongst the people of the hellfire. A man amongst the people said, I shall accompany him to watch what he does. Thus he accompanied him, and wherever he stood, he would stand with him, and wherever he ran, he would run with him. Then the brave man got wounded seriously, and he decided to bring about his death quickly. He planted the blade of the sword in the ground, directing its sharp end towards his chest between his two breasts. Then he leaned on the sword and killed himself. The other man came to Allah's Messenger and said, I testify that you are Allah's Messenger. The Prophet asked, what has happened? He replied, it is about the man whom you had described as one of the people of the hellfire. The people were greatly surprised at what you said, and I said, I will find out his reality for you. So I came out seeking him. He got severely wounded and hastened to die by slanting the blade of his sword in the ground, directing its sharp end towards his chest between his two breasts. Then he eased on his sword and killed himself. When Allah's Messenger said, a man may seem to to the people as if he were practicing the deeds of the people of paradise, while in fact he is from the people of the hellfire. Another may seem to the people as if he were practicing the deeds of the people of hellfire, while in fact he is from the people of paradise. Chapter 78. Exhortation to archery, arrow throwing. Narrated Salama bin al-Aqwa. The Prophet passed by some people of the tribe of Bani Aslam, who were practicing archery. The Prophet said, O Bani Ismail, practice archery as your father Ismail was a great archer. Keep on throwing arrows and I am with Bani so-and-so. So one of the parties ceased throwing. Allah's apostle said, Why do you not throw? They replied, How should we throw while you are with them, on their side? On that the Prophet said, Throw and I am with all of you. Narrated Abu Usaid. On the day of the battle of Badr, when we stood in rows against the army of Quraysh, and they stood in rows against us, the Prophet said, When they do come near you, throw arrows at them. Chapter 79. To play with spears and other similar arms. Narrated Abu Hurairah. While some Ethiopians were playing in the presence of the Prophet, Umar came in, picked up a stone, and hit them with it. On that the Prophet said, O Umar, allow them to play. Mamar, the sub-narrator, added that they were playing in the mosque. Chapter 80. The shield and shielding oneself with the shield of his companion. Narrated Anas bin Malik. Abu Talha and the Prophet used to shield themselves with one shield. Abu Talha was a good archer, and when he threw his arrows, the Prophet would look at the target of his arrows. Narrated Sal. When the helmet of the Prophet was smashed on his head and blood covered his face, and one of his front teeth got broken, Ali brought the water in his shield, and Fatima, the Prophet's daughter, washed him. But when she saw that the bleeding increased more by the water, she took a mat, burnt it, and placed the ashes on the wound of the Prophet, and so the blood stopped oozing out. Narrated Umar. The properties of Bani al-Nadir, which Allah had transferred to his apostle, as fai booty, were not gained by the Muslims with their horses and camels. The properties therefore belonged especially to Allah's Messenger, who used to give his family their yearly expenditure and spend what remained thereof on arms and horses to be used in Allah's cause. Narrated Ali. I never saw the Prophet say, Let my parents sacrifice their lives for you, to any man after Sa'd. I heard him saying to him, Throw the arrows, let my parents sacrifice their lives for you. Chapter 81. The Leather Shield. Narrated Aisha. Allah's Messenger came to my house while two girls were singing beside me the songs of Buat, a story about the war between the two tribes of the Ansar, Khazraj and Aus, before Islam. The Prophet reclined on the bed and turned his face to the other side. Abu Bakr came and scolded me and said, protestingly, Instrument of Satan in the presence of Allah's Messenger? Allah's Messenger turned his face towards him and said, Leave them. When Abu Bakr became inattentive, I waved the two girls to go away and they left. It was the day of Eid when Negroes used to play with leather shields and spears. Either I requested Allah's Messenger or he himself asked me whether I would like to see the display. I replied in the affirmative. Then he let me stand behind him, and my cheek was touching his cheek, and he was saying, "Carry on, O Bani Arfida, ye Negroes." When I got tired, he asked me if that was enough. I replied in the affirmative, and he told me to leave. Chapter 82. The straps for suspending sword and the hanging of the sword by the neck. Narrated Anas. The Prophet was the best and the bravest amongst the people. Once the people of Medina got terrified at night, so they went in the direction of the noise that terrified them. The Prophet met them on his way back. After he had found out the truth, he was riding an unsaddled horse belonging to Abu Talha, and the sword was hanging by his neck, and he was saying, "Don't be afraid, don't be afraid." He further said, "I found it." Yeah, the horse very fast, or said, "This horse is very fast." Kastala ni. Chapter 83. The decoration of swords with gold and silver, etc. Narrated Abu Umama. Some people conquered many countries, and their swords were decorated, neither with gold nor silver, but they were decorated with leather, lead, and iron. Chapter 84. Whoever hung his sword on a tree at midday nap. Narrated Jabir bin Abdullah, that he proceeded in the company of Allah's Messenger towards Najd to participate in a Ghazwa, holy battle. When Allah's Messenger returned, he too returned with him. Midday came upon them while they were in a valley having many thorny trees. Allah's Messenger and the people dismounted and dispersed to rest in the shade of the trees. Allah's Messenger rested under a tree and hung his sword on it. We all took a nap, and suddenly we heard Allah's Messenger calling us. We woke up to see a Bedouin with him. The Prophet said, "This Bedouin took out my sword while I was sleeping, and when I woke up, I found the unsheathed sword in his hand, and he challenged me, saying, 'Who will save you from me?' I said thrice, 'Allah.' The Prophet did not punish him, but sat down." Chapter 85. The wearing of a helmet. Narrated Saul, that he was asked about the wound of the Prophet. On the day of the Battle of Uhud, he said, "The face of the Prophet as wounded, and one of his front teeth as broken, and the helmet over his head was smashed." Fatima washed off the blood while Ali held water. When she saw that bleeding was increasing continuously, she burnt a mat of date palm leaves till it turned into ashes, which she put over the wound, and thus the bleeding ceased. Chapter 86. To break the weapons and to slaughter the animals of the deceased. Narrated Amr bin al-Harith. The Prophet did not leave behind him after his death anything except his arms, his white mule, and a piece of land at Khaybar, which he left to be given in charity. Chapter 87. The dispersing the people away from the Imam to rest in the shade of trees. Narrated Jabir. As above, Hadith number 158. Narrated Jabir bin Abdullah, that he participated in a Ghazwa, holy battle, in the company of Allah's Messenger. Midday came upon them while they were in a valley having many thorny trees. The people dispersed to rest in the shade of the trees. The Prophet rested under a tree, hung his sword on it, and then slept. Then he woke up to find near to him a man whose presence he had not noticed before. The Prophet said, "This man took my sword out of its scabbard and said, "Who will save you from me?" I replied, "Allah." So he put the sword back into its scabbard, and you see him sitting here. Anyhow, the Prophet did not punish him. See Hadith number 158. Chapter 88. What is said regarding spears. Narrated Abu Qatada, that he was in the company of Allah's Messenger, and when they had covered a portion of the road to Mecca, he and some of the companions lagged behind. The latter were in a state of ihram, while he was not. He saw an onager and rode his horse and requested his companions to give him his lash, but they refused. Then he asked them to give him his spear, but they refused. So he took it himself, attacked the onager and killed it. Some of the companions of the Prophet ate of it, while some others refused to eat. When they caught up with Allah's Messenger, they asked him about that, and he said, that was a meal Allah fed you with. It is also said that Allah's Messenger asked, "Have you got something of its meat?" Chapter 89. The armor of the Prophet Sahih. Narrated Ibn Abbas. The Prophet, while in a tent on the day of the Battle of Badr, said, "O Allah, I ask you the fulfillment of your covenant and promise. O Allah, if you wish to destroy the believers, you will never be worshipped after today." Abu Bakr caught him by the hand and said, "This is sufficient, O Allah's Apostle. You have asked Allah pressingly." The Prophet was clad in his armor at that time. He went out saying to me, their multitude will be put to flight, and they will show their backs. Nay, but the hour is their appointed time for their full recompense, and that hour will be more grievous and more bitter than their worldly failure. 54:45-46. Khalid said that was on the day of the Battle of Badr. Narrated Aisha. Allah's Messenger died while his iron armor was mortgaged to a Jew for 30 sahs of barley. Narrated Abu Huraira. The Prophet said, "The example of a miser and the one who gives in charity is like the example of two men wearing iron cloaks so tightly that their arms are raised forcibly towards their collarbones. So whenever a charitable person wants to give in charity, his cloak spreads over his body, so much so that it wipes out his traces. But whenever the miser wants to give in charity, the rings of the iron cloak come closer to each other and press over his body, and his hands get connected to his collarbones." Abu Huraira heard the Prophet saying, "The miser then tries to widen it, but in vain." Chapter 90. The wearing of a cloak on journeys and in war. Narrated Al-Mughira bin Shu'bah. Allah's Messenger went out to answer the call of nature, and on his return I brought some water to him. He performed the ablution while he was wearing a chamois cloak. He rinsed his mouth and washed his nose by putting water in it and then blowing it out, and washed his face. Then he tried to take out his hands through his sleeves, but they were tight. So he took them out from underneath, washed them, and passed wet hands over his head and over his leather socks. Chapter 91. The wearing of silk in war. Narrated Anas. The Prophet allowed Abdurrahman bin Auf and As-Zubayr to wear silken shirts because they had a skin disease causing itching. Narrated Anas. As above narrated Anas, Abdurrahman bin Auf and As-Zubayr complained to the Prophet about the lice that caused itching, so he allowed them to wear silken clothes. I saw them wearing such clothes in a holy battle. Narrated Anas. The Prophet allowed Abdurrahman bin Auf and As-Zubair bin al-Awam to wear silk. Narrated Anas. Wearing of silk was allowed to them, Abdurrahman and As-Zubair, because of the itching they suffered from. Chapter 92. What is said about the knife. Narrated Umayyah ad-Damri. I saw the Prophet eating of a shoulder of a sheep by cutting from it, and then he was called to prayer, and he prayed without repeating his ablution. Narrated As-Suri. As above, hadith number 173, and added that the Prophet put the knife down. Chapter 93. The fighting against Ar-Rum, the Byzantines. Narrated Khalid bin Madan. That Umayr bin al-Aswad al-Ansari told him that he went to Ubadah bin as-Samit while he was staying in his house at the seashore of Hims with his wife, Haram. Umayr said, Haram informed us that she heard the Prophet saying, Paradise is granted to the first batch of my followers who will undertake a naval expedition. Haram added, I said, O Allah's Messenger, will I be amongst them? He replied, You are amongst them. The Prophet then said, The first army amongst my followers who will invade Caesar's city will be forgiven their sins. I asked, Will I be one of them, O Allah's Messenger? He replied in the negative. Chapter 94. Fighting against the Jews. Narrated Abdullah bin Umar. Allah's Messenger said, You, ye Muslims, will fight with the Jews until some of them will hide behind stones. The stones will betray him, saying, O Abdullah, ye slave of Allah, there is a Jew hiding behind me, so kill him. Narrated Abu Hurairah. Allah's Messenger said, The hour will not be established until you fight with the Jews, and the stone behind which a Jew will be hiding will say, O Muslim, there is a Jew hiding behind me, so kill him. Chapter 95. Fighting against the Turks. Narrated Amr bin Taghlib. The Prophet said, One of the portents of the hour is that you will fight with people wearing shoes made of hair, and one of the portents of the hour is that you will fight with broad-faced people, whose faces will look like shields, coated with leather. Narrated Abu Hurairah. Allah's Messenger said, The hour will not be established until you fight with the Turks, people with small eyes, red faces and flat noses. Their faces will look like shields coated with leather. The hour will not be established till you fight with people whose shoes are made of hair. Chapter 96. Fighting against people wearing shoes made of hair. Narrated Abu Hurairah. The Prophet said, The hour will not be established till you fight with people wearing shoes made of hair, and the hour will not be established till you fight with people whose faces look like shields coated with leather. Abu Hurairah added, They will be small-eyed, flat-nosed, and their faces will look like shields coated with leather. Chapter 97. Whoever arranged his companions at the time of defeat and got down from his riding animal and requested Allah for help. Narrated Abu Ishaq. A man asked Al-Bara, O Abu Umara, did you all flee on the day of the battle of Hunain? He replied, No, by Allah. Allah's Messenger did not flee, but his young unarmed companions passed by the archers of the tribe of Hawasin and Bani Nasr. whose arrows hardly missed a target, and they threw arrows at them, hardly missing a shot. So the Muslims retreated towards the Prophet while he was riding his white mule, which was being led by his cousin Abu Sufyan bin al-Harith bin Abdul Muttalib. The Prophet dismounted and invoked Allah for victory. Then he said, I am the Prophet, without a lie, I am the son of Abdul Muttalib. And then he arranged his companions in rows. Chapter 98. To invoke Allah to defeat and shake al-Mushrikun. Narrated Ali. When it was the day of the battle of al-Asab, the clans, Allah's messenger said, O Allah, fill the infidels' houses and graves with fire, as they busied us so much that we did not perform the prayer, Asr, till the sun set. Narrated Abu Hurairah. The Prophet used to recite the following invocations during Qunut. O Allah, save Salama bin Hisham. O Allah, save Al-Walid bin Al-Walid. O Allah, save Aisha, save Ayash bin Rabia. O Allah, save the weak Muslims. O Allah, be very hard on Mudar tribe. O Allah, afflict them with years of famine, similar to the famine years of the time of Prophet Joseph. Narrated Abdullah bin Abi Awfa. Allah's messenger invoked evil upon the pagans on the day of the battle of Al-Asab, saying, O Allah, the revealer of the holy book, the swift taker of accounts. O Allah, defeat Al-Asab, the clans. O Allah, defeat them and shake them. Narrated Abdullah. Once the Prophet was offering the prayer in the shade of the Kaaba, Abu Jahl and some Qurayshi men sent somebody to bring the abdominal contents of a she-camel, which had been slaughtered somewhere in Mecca, and when he brought them, they put them over the Prophet. Then Fatima, the Prophet's daughter, came and threw them away from him, and he said, O Allah, destroy the pagans of Quraysh. O Allah, destroy the Quraysh. O Allah, destroy Quraysh, naming especially Abu Jahl bin Hisham, Utbah bin Rabia, Shayba bin Rabia, Al-Walid bin Utbah, Ubay bin Khalaf, and Uqba bin Abi Mit. The narrator Abdullah added, I saw them all killed and thrown in a Badr well. Narrated Aisha. Once the Jews came to the Prophet and said, Death be upon you. So I cursed them. The Prophet said, What is the matter? I said, Have you not heard what they said? The Prophet said, Have you not heard what I replied to them? I said, The same is upon you. Chapter 99. To preach to the people of the scriptures, or teach them the holy book. Narrated Abdullah bin Abbas. Allah's messenger wrote a letter to Caesar saying, If you reject Islam, you will be responsible for the sins of the peasants, your people. Chapter 100. To invoke Allah to bestow guidance upon al-Mushrikun. Narrated Abu Hurairah. Tufail bin Amr ad-Dawsi and his companions came to the Prophet and said, O Allah's messenger, the people of the tribe of Daws disobeyed and refused to follow you, so invoke Allah against them. The people said, The tribe of Daws is ruined. The Prophet said, O Allah, give guidance to the people of Daws and let them embrace Islam. Chapter 101. The invitation to Islam is essential before declaring war. Narrated Anas. When the Prophet intended to write a letter to the ruler of the Byzantines, he was told that those people did not read any letter unless it was stamped with a seal. So the Prophet got a silver ring, as if I were just looking at its white glitter on his hand. and stamped on it the expression, Muhammad, Apostle of Allah. Narrated Abdullah bin Abbas. Allah's messenger sent his letter to Khusrav and ordered his messenger to hand it over to the governor of Bahrain, who was to hand it over to Khusrav. So when Khusrav read the letter, he tore it. Sa'id bin al-Musayyab said, "The Prophet then invoked Allah to disperse them with full dispersion, destroy them, Khusrav and his followers severely." Chapter 102. The invitation of the Prophet Saus to embrace Islam. Narrated Abdullah bin Abbas. Allah's messenger wrote to Caesar and invited him to Islam, and sent him his letter with Dihya al-Kalbi, whom Allah's messenger ordered to hand it over to the governor of Bisra, who would forward it to Caesar. Caesar, as a sign of gratitude to Allah, had walked from Hims to Ilya, Jerusalem, when Allah had granted him victory over the Persian forces. So when the letter of Allah's messenger reached Caesar, he said after reading it, "Seek for me any of his people, Arabs of Quraysh tribe, if present here, in order to ask him about Allah's messenger." At that time, Abu Sufyan bin Harb was in Sham with some men from Quraysh who had come to Sham as merchants during the truce that had been concluded between Allah's messenger and the infidels of Quraysh. Abu Sufyan said, "Caesar's messenger found us somewhere in Sham, so he took me and my companions to Ilya, and we were admitted into Caesar's court to find him sitting in his royal court, wearing a crown and surrounded by the senior dignitaries of the Byzantine. He said to his translator, "Ask them who amongst them is a close relation to the man who claims to be a prophet." Abu Sufyan added, I replied, "I am the nearest relative to him." He asked, "What degree of relationship do you have with him?" I replied, "He is my cousin." And there was none of Bani Abu Manaf in the caravan except myself. Caesar said, "Let him come nearer." He then ordered that my companions stand behind me near my shoulder, and said to his translator, "Tell his companions that I am going to ask this man about the man who claims to be a prophet. If he tells a lie, they should contradict him immediately." Abu Sufyan added, "By Allah, had it not been shameful that my companions label me a liar, I would not have spoken the truth about him when he asked me, but I considered it shameful to be called a liar by my companions, so I told the truth." He then said to his translator, "Ask him what kind of family does he belong to?" I replied, "He belongs to a noble family amongst us." He said, "Have anybody else amongst you ever claimed the same before him?" I replied, "No." He said, "Had you ever blamed him for telling lies before he claimed what he claimed?" I replied, "No." He said, "Was anybody amongst his ancestors a king?" I replied, "No." He said, "Do the noble or the poor follow him?" I replied, "It is the poor who follow him." He said, "Are they increasing or decreasing day by day?" I replied, "They are increasing." He said, "Does anybody amongst those who embrace the Prophet's religion become displeased and then discard his religion?" I replied, "No." He said, "Does he break his promises?" I replied, "No. But we are now at truce with him, and we are afraid that he may betray us." Abu Sufyan added, "Other than the last sentence, I could not say anything against him." Caesar then asked, "Have you ever had a war with him?" I replied, "Yes." He said, "What was the outcome of your battles with him?" I replied, the result was unstable. Sometimes he was victorious and sometimes we, he said. What does he order you to do? I said, he tells us to worship Allah alone and not to worship others along with him, and to leave all that our forefathers used to worship. He orders us to pray, give in charity, be chaste, keep promises, and return what is entrusted to us. When I had said that, Caesar said to his translator, say to him, I ask you about his lineage, and your reply was that he belonged to a noble family. In fact, all the apostles came from the noblest lineage of their nations. Then I questioned you whether anybody else amongst you had claimed such a thing, and your reply was in the negative. If the answer had been in the affirmative, I would have thought that this man was following a claim that had been said before him. When I asked you whether he was ever blamed for telling lies, your reply was in the negative, so I took it for granted that a person who did not tell a lie about others, the people, could never tell a lie about Allah. Then I asked you whether any of his ancestors was a king. Your reply was in the negative, and if it had been in the affirmative, I would have thought that this man wanted to take back his ancestral kingdom. When I asked you whether the rich or the poor followed him, you replied that it was the poor who followed him. In fact, such are the followers of the apostles. Then I asked you whether his followers were increasing or decreasing. You replied that they were increasing. In fact, this is the result of true faith, till it is complete in all respects. I asked you whether there was anybody who, after embracing his religion, became displeased and discarded his religion. Your reply was in the negative. In fact, this is the sign of true faith, for when its cheerfulness enters and mixes in the heart completely, nobody will be displeased with it. I asked you whether he had ever broken his promise. You replied in the negative, and such are the apostles, they never break the promises. When I asked you whether you fought with him, and he fought with you, you replied that he did, and that sometimes he was victorious and sometimes you. Indeed, such are the apostles. They are put to trials, and the final victory is always theirs. Then I asked you what he ordered you. You replied that he ordered you to worship Allah alone and not to worship others along with him, to leave all that your forefathers used to worship, to offer prayers, to speak the truth, to be chaste, to keep promises, and to return what is entrusted to you. These are really the qualities of a prophet who, I knew from the previous scriptures, would appear. But I did not know that he would be from amongst you. If what you say should be true, he will very soon occupy the earth under my feet, and if I knew that I would reach him definitely, I would go immediately to meet him. And were I with him, then I would certainly wash his feet. Abu Sufyan added. Caesar then asked for the letter of Allah's messenger, and it was read. Its contents were, in the name of Allah, the most beneficent, the most merciful. The letter is from Muhammad, the slave of Allah, and his apostle, to Heraclius, the ruler of the Byzantine. Peace be upon the followers of guidance. Now then, I invite you to Islam. Yet surrender to Allah, embrace Islam and you will be safe. Embrace Islam and Allah will bestow on you a double reward. But if you reject the invitation of Islam, you shall be responsible for misguiding the peasants, your nation. O people of the scriptures, come to a word common to you and us and you, that we worship none but Allah, and that we associate nothing in worship with him, and that none of us shall take others as lords besides Allah. Then if they turn away, say, bear witness that we are they who have surrendered unto him. 364. Abu Sufyan added, When Heraclius had finished his speech, there was a great hue and cry caused by the Byzantine royalty surrounding him, and there was so much noise that I did not understand what they said. So we were turned out of the court. When I went out with my companions and we were alone, I said to them, "Verily, Ibn Abi Kabsha, the Prophet's affair has gained power. This is the king of Bani al-Asfar." Fearing him, Abu Sufyan added, "By Allah, I remained low and was sure that his religion would be victorious till Allah converted me to Islam, though I disliked it." Narrated Sahl bin Sa'd that he heard the Prophet on the day of the Battle of Khaybar say, "I will give the flag to a person at whose hands Allah will grant victory." So the companions of the Prophet got up, wishing eagerly to see to whom the flag will be given, and every one of them wished to be given the flag. But the Prophet asked for Ali. Someone informed him that he was suffering from eye trouble, so he ordered them to bring Ali in front of him. Then the Prophet spat in his eyes, and his eyes were cured immediately, as if he had never any eye trouble. Ali said, "We will fight with them, infidels, till they became like us, Muslims." The Prophet said, "Be patient till you face them and invite them to Islam, and inform them of what Allah has enjoined upon them. By Allah, if a single person embraces Islam at your hands, through you, that will be better for you than the red camels." Narrated Anas, whenever Allah's messenger attacked some people, he would never attack them till it was dawn. If he heard the adhan, called for prayer, he would delay the fight, and if he did not hear the adhan, he would attack them immediately after dawn. We reached Khaybar at night. Narrated Anas, as hadith number 193 above. Narrated Anas, the Prophet set out for Khaybar and reached it at night. He used not to attack if he reached the people at night, till the day broke. So when the day dawned, the Jews came out with their bags and spades. When they saw the Prophet, they said, "Muhammad and his army." The Prophet said, "Allahu Akbar, Allah is greater, and Khaybar is ruined. For whenever we approach a nation, enemy to fight, then it will be a miserable morning for those who have been warned." Narrated Abu Hurairah. Allah's apostle said, "I have been ordered to fight with the people till they say, 'None has the right to be worshipped but Allah.' And whoever says, 'None has the right to be worshipped but Allah,' his life and property will be saved by me, except for Islamic law, and his accounts will be with Allah, either to punish him or to forgive him." Chapter 103, Concealing the True Destination of a Ghazwa. Narrated Ka'b bin Malik. Whenever Allah's messenger intended to lead a Ghazwa, he would use an equivocation from which one would understand that he was going to a different destination. Narrated Ka'b bin Malik. Whenever Allah's messenger intended to carry out a Ghazwa, he would use an equivocation to conceal his real destination, till it was the Ghazwa of Tabuk, which Allah's messenger carried out in a very hot weather, as he was going to face a very long journey through a wasteland and was to meet and attack a large number of enemies. So he made the situation clear to the Muslims so that they might prepare themselves accordingly and get ready to conquer their enemy. The Prophet informed them of the destination he was heading for. Ka'b bin Malik used to say, "Scarcely did Allah's Messenger set out for a journey on a day other than first day." Narrated Ka'b bin Malik. The Prophet set out on first day for the Ghazwa of Tabuk, and he used to prefer to set out yet travel on first days. Chapter 104. Setting out after midday. Narrated Anas. The Prophet offered a 4 rakat at Sur prayer at Medina, and then offered a 2 rakat Asr prayer at Dhul Hulayfa. And I heard the companions of the Prophet reciting Talbiyah aloud for Hajj and Umrah altogether. Chapter 105. Setting out in the last part of the month. Narrated Aisha. We set out in the company of Allah's Messenger 5 days before the end of Dhul Qa'dah, intending to perform Hajj only. When we approached Mecca, Allah's Messenger ordered those who did not have the hadi, yet an animal for sacrifice with them, to perform the tawaf around the Kaaba and perform Safa and Marwa, and then finish their ihram. Beef was brought to us on the day the days of slaughtering, and I asked, "What is this?" Somebody said, "Allah's Messenger has slaughtered a cow on behalf of his wives." Chapter 106. Traveling in Ramadan. Narrated Ibn Abbas. Once the Prophet set out in the month of Ramadan, he observed fasting till he reached a place called Qadid, where he broke his fast. Chapter 107. Bidding farewell. Narrated Abu Huraira Rah. Allah's Messenger sent us on a military expedition, telling us, "If you find such and such persons," he named 2 men from Quraysh, burn them fire." Then we came to bid him farewell. Then, when we wanted to set out, he said, "Previously I ordered you to burn so and so with fire, but as punishment with fire is done by none except Allah. If you capture them, kill them instead." Chapter 108. Listening to and obeying the Imam. Narrated Ibn Umar. The Prophet said, "It is obligatory for one to listen to and obey the ruler's orders, unless these orders involve one disobedience to Allah. But if an act of disobedience to Allah is imposed, he should not listen to or obey it." Chapter 109. The Imam should be defended. Narrated Abu Huraira, that heard Allah's Messenger saying, "We are the last, but will be the foremost to enter paradise." The Prophet added, "He who obeys me obeys Allah, and he who disobeys me disobeys Allah. He who obeys the chief obeys me, and he who disobeys the chief disobeys me. The Imam is like a shelter for whose safety the Muslims should fight, and where they should seek protection. If the Imam orders people with righteousness and rules justly, then he will be rewarded for that, and if he does the opposite, he will be responsible for that." Chapter 110. To give a bayah for not to flee during a battle. Narrated Ibn Umar. When we reached Hudaybiyah in the next year of the Treaty of Hudaybiyah, not even 2 men amongst us agreed anonymously as to which was the tree under which we had given the pledge of allegiance, and that was out of Allah's mercy. The sub-narrator asked Nafi, for what did the Prophet take their pledge of allegiance? Was it for death? Nafi replied, no, but he took their pledge of allegiance for patience. Narrated Abdullah bin Zayd, that in the time of the battle of Al-Hara, a person came to him and said, Ibn Hanzala is taking the pledge of allegiance from the people for death. He said, I will never give a pledge of allegiance for such a thing to anyone after Allah's Messenger. Narrated Yazid bin Ubayd. Salama said, I gave the pledge of allegiance Al-Ridwan to Allah's Messenger, and then I moved to the shade of a tree. When the number of people around the Prophet diminished, he said, O Ibn al-Aqwa, will you not give me the pledge of allegiance? I replied, O Allah's Messenger, I have already given to you the pledge of allegiance. He said, do it again. So I gave the pledge of allegiance for the second time. I asked, O Abu Muslim, for what did you give he pledge of allegiance on that day? He replied, we gave the pledge of allegiance for death. Narrated Anas. On the day of the Battle of the Trench, the Ansar were saying, we are those who have sworn allegiance to Muhammad for Jihad forever. As long as we live, the Prophet replied to them, O Allah, there is no life except the life of the hereafter, so honor the Ansar and emigrants with your generosity. Narrated Mujashi. My brothers and I came to the Prophet, and I requested him to take the pledge of allegiance from us for migration. He said, migration has passed away with its people. I asked, for what will you take the pledge of allegiance from us then? He said, I will take the pledge for Islam and Jihad. Chapter 111. The Imam should order the people to do only within their ability. Narrated Abdullah. Today a man came to me and asked me a question which I did not know how to answer. He said, tell me, if a wealthy active man, well equipped with arms, goes out on military expeditions with our chiefs and orders us to do such things as we cannot do, should we obey him? I replied, by Allah, I do not know what to reply you, except that we were in the company of the Prophet, and he used to order us to do a thing once only till we finished it, and no doubt everyone among you will remain in a good state as long as he obeys Allah. If one is in doubt as to the legality of something, he should ask somebody who will satisfy him, but soon will come a time when you will not find such a man by him except whom none has the right to be worshipped. I see that the example of what has passed of this life to what remains thereof is like a pond whose fresh water has been used up, and nothing remains but muddy water. Chapter 112. Delay of the fighting. Narrated Salim Abu an-Nadr. The freed slave of Umar bin Ubaydullah, who was Umar's clerk, Abdullah bin Abi Aufa, wrote him, Umar, a letter that contained the following. Once Allah's Messenger, during a holy battle, waited till the sun had declined, and then he got up among the people and said, O people, do not wish to face the enemy in a battle, and ask Allah to save you from calamities. But if you should face the enemy, then be patient, and let it be known to you that paradise is under the shades of swords. He then said, O Allah, the revealer of the Holy Book, the mover of the clouds, and defeater of Al-Asab, the clans of infidels, defeat them, infidels, and bestow victory upon us. Chapter 113. Asking the permission of the Imam. Narrated Jabir bin Abdullah. I participated in a ghazwa along with Allah's Messenger. The Prophet met me on the way while I was riding a camel of ours, used for irrigation, and it had got so tired that it could hardly walk. The Prophet asked me, "What is wrong with the camel?" I replied, "It has got tired." So Allah's Messenger came from behind it and rebuked it and prayed for it, so it started surpassing the other camels and not going ahead of them. Then he asked me, "How do you find your camel now?" I replied, "I find it quite well, now as it has received your blessings." He said, "Will you sell it to me?" I felt shy to refuse his offer, though it was the only camel for irrigation we had. So I said, "Yes." He said, "Sell it to me then." I sold it to him on the condition that I should keep on riding it till I reached Medina. Then I said, "O Allah's Apostle, I am a bridegroom," and requested him to allow me to go home. He allowed me, and I set out for Medina before the people till I reached Medina, where I met my uncle, who asked me about the camel, and I informed him all about it, and he blamed me for that. When I took the permission of Allah's Messenger, he asked me whether I had married a virgin or a matroon, and I replied that I had married a matroon. He said, "Why hadn't you married a virgin who would have played with you, and you have played with her? And you would have played with her?" I replied, "O Allah's Messenger, my father died or was martyred, and I have some young sisters, so I felt it not proper that I should marry a young girl like them who would neither teach them manners nor serve them. So I have married a matroon, so that she may serve them and teach them manners." When Allah's Messenger arrived in Medina, I took the camel to him the next morning, and he gave me its price and gave me the camel itself as well. Chapter 114. Participation in the Jihad by the recently married. Chapter 115. Participation in Jihad after the consummation of marriage. Chapter 116. The setting out of the Imam before the people at the time of fright. Narrated Anas bin Malik. Once there was a feeling of fright at Medina, so Allah's Messenger rode a horse belonging to Abu Talha, and on his return he said, "We have not seen anything fearful, but we found this horse very fast." Chapter 117. To be quick at the time of fright. Narrated Anas bin Malik. Once the people got frightened, so Allah's Messenger rode a slow horse belonging to Abu Talha, and he set out all alone, making the horse gallop. Then the people rode, making their horses gallop after him. On his return he said, "Don't be afraid, there is nothing to be afraid of, and I have found this horse a very fast one." That horse was never excelled in running henceforward. Castalani, Volume 5. Chapter 118. Setting out alone at the time of fright. Chapter 119. The wages given to fight on somebody else's behalf. Narrated Umar bin al-Khattab. I gave a horse to be used in Allah's cause, but later on I saw it being sold. I asked the Prophet whether I could buy it. He said, "Don't buy it and don't take back your gift of charity." Narrated Abdullah bin Umar. Umar gave a horse to be used in Allah's cause, but later on he found it being sold, so he intended to buy it, and asked Allah's Messenger, who said, "Don't buy it and don't take back your gift of charity." Narrated Abu Huraira. Allah's Messenger said, "Were it not for the fear that it would be difficult for my followers, I would not have remained behind any Sariya army unit, but I don't have riding camels and have no other means of conveyance to carry them on, and it is hard for me that my companions should remain behind me. No doubt, I wish I could fight in Allah's cause and be martyred and come to life again, to be martyred and come to life once more." Chapter 120. The Laborer. Narrated Yali. I participated in the Ghazwa of Tabuk along with Allah's Messenger, and I gave a young camel to be ridden in Jihaad, and that was to me one of my best deeds. Then I employed a laborer who quarreled with another person. One of them bit the hand of the other, and the latter drew his hand from the mouth of the former, pulling out his front tooth. Then the former instituted a suit against the latter before the Prophet, who rejected that suit, saying, "Do you expect him to put out his hand for you to snap as a male camel snaps vegetation?" Chapter 121. The Flag of the Prophet Sauce. Narrated Talaba bin Abi Malik al-Qurasi. When Qais bin Sa'd al-Ansari, who used to carry the flag of the Prophet, intended to perform Hajj, he combed his hair. Narrated Salama bin al-Aqwa. Ali remained behind the Prophet during the Battle of Khaybar, as he was suffering from some eye trouble. But then he said, "How should I stay behind Allah's Messenger?" So he set out till he joined the Prophet on the eve of the day of the conquest of Khaybar. Allah's Messenger said, "No doubt, I will give the flag or tomorrow a man whom Allah and his apostle love, or who loves Allah and his apostle will take the flag. Allah will bestow victory upon him." Suddenly Ali joined us, though we were not expecting him. The people said, "Here is Ali." So Allah's Messenger gave the flag to him, and Allah bestowed victory upon him. Narrated Nafi bin Jubair. I heard Al-Abbas telling As-Zubayr, "The Prophet ordered you to fix the flag here." Chapter 122. I have been made victorious. Narrated Abu Huraira. Allah's Messenger said, "I have been sent with the shortest expressions, bearing the widest meanings, and I have been made victorious with terror cast in the hearts of the enemy, and while I was sleeping the keys of the treasures of the world were brought to me and put in my hand." Abu Huraira added, "Allah's Messenger has left the world, and now you people are bringing out those treasures, yet the Prophet did not benefit by them." Narrated Ibn Abbas. Abu Sufyan said, "Heraclius sent for me when I was in Ilia, Jerusalem. Then he asked for the letter of Allah's Messenger. And when he had finished its reading, there was a great hue and cry around him, and the voices grew louder, and we were asked to quit the place. When we were turned out, I said to my companions, 'The cause of Ibn Abi Qabsha has become conspicuous, as the king of Bani al-Aswad is afraid of him.'" Chapter 123. Providing oneself with food. Narrated Asma. I prepared a journey food for Allah's Messenger in Abu Bakr's house when he intended to emigrate to Medina. I could not find anything to tie the food container and the water skin with, so I said to Abu Bakr, By Allah, I do not find anything to tie these things with except my waist belt. He said, cut it into 2 pieces and tie the water skin with 1 piece and the food container with the other. The sub-narrator added, she did accordingly, and that was the reason for calling her Datu Nitakain, a 2-belted woman. Narrated Jabir bin Abdullah. During the lifetime of the Prophet, we used to take the meat of sacrificed animals as journey food to Medina. See Hadith number 474, volume 7. Narrated Suwaid bin An-Numan, that he went out in the company of the Prophet during the year of Khaybar campaign till they reached a place called As-Saba, the lower part of Khaybar. They offered the Asr prayer there, and the Prophet asked for the food. Nothing but savik was brought to the Prophet, so they chewed it and ate it and drank water. After that the Prophet got up, washed his mouth, and they too washed their mouths, and then offered the prayers. Narrated Salama. Once the journey food of the people ran short, and they were in great need, so they came to the Prophet to take his permission for slaughtering their camels, and he permitted them. Then Umar met them, and they informed him about it. He said, what will sustain you after your camels are finished? Then Umar went to the Prophet and said, O Allah's Messenger, what will sustain them after their camels are finished? Allah's Messenger said, make an announcement amongst the people that they should bring all the remaining food to me. They brought it, and the Prophet invoked Allah and asked for his blessings for it. Then he asked them to bring their food utensils, and the people started filling their food utensils with their hands till they were satisfied. Allah's Messenger then said, I testify that none has the right to be worshipped but Allah, and I am his apostle. Chapter 124. To carry the journey food on one shoulder. Narrated Wab bin Kaysan. Jabir bin Abdullah said, we set out, and we were 300 men carrying our journey food on our shoulders. Then we began to eat a single date each per day. A man asked Jabir, O Abu Abdullah, how could a person be satisfied with a single date? Jabir replied, we realized the value of that one date when we could not even have that much till we reached the seashore, when all of a sudden we saw a huge fish cast by the sea. So we ate of it as much as we wished for 18 days. Chapter 125. The sitting of a woman behind her brother. Narrated Aisha, that she said, O Allah's Messenger, your companions are returning with the reward of both Hajj and Umrah, while I am returning with the reward of Hajj only. He said to her, go and let Abdur Rahman, your brother, make you sit behind him on the animal. So he ordered Abdur Rahman to let her perform Umrah from Al-Tanim. Then the Prophet waited for her at the higher region of Mecca till she returned. Narrated Abdur Rahman bin Abi Bakr as-Siddiq. The Prophet ordered me to let Aisha sit behind me on the animal, and to let her perform Umrah from At-Tanim. Chapter 126. The sitting of 2 men together over a riding animal. Narrated Anas. I was riding behind Abu Talha on the same riding animal, and the Prophet's companions were reciting Talbiyah aloud for both Hajj and Umrah. Chapter 127. The sitting of 2 men together on a donkey. Narrated Urwa from Usama bin Zayd. Allah's Messenger rode a donkey on which there was a saddle covered by a velvet sheet, and let Usama ride behind him on the donkey. Narrated Nafi from Abdullah. Allah's messenger came to Mecca through its higher region on the day of the conquest of Mecca, riding his she-camel on which Usama was riding behind him. Bilal and Uthman bin Talha, one of the servants of the Kaaba, were also accompanying him till he made his camel kneel in the mosque and ordered the latter to bring the key of the Kaaba. He opened the door of the Kaaba, and Allah's messenger entered in the company of Usama, Bilal and Uthman, and stayed in it for a long period. When he came out, the people rushed to it, and Abdullah bin Umar was the first to enter it, and found Bilal standing behind the door. He asked Bilal, where did the Prophet offer his prayer? He pointed to the place where he had offered his prayer. Abdullah said, I forgot to ask him how many rakat he had performed. Chapter 128. Holding the riding animal of somebody else. Narrated Abu Hurairah. Allah's messenger said, there is a compulsory sadaqah charity to be given for every joint of the human body as a sign of gratitude to Allah. Every day the sun rises to judge justly between two persons is regarded as sadaqah, and to help a man concerning his riding animal by helping him to ride it, or by lifting his luggage onto it, is also regarded as sadaqah, and saying a good word is also sadaqah, and every step taken on one's way to offer the compulsory prayer in the mosque is also sadaqah, and to remove a harmful thing from the way is also sadaqah. Chapter 129. Not to travel to a hostile country carrying copies of the Quran. Narrated Abdullah bin Umar. Allah's messenger forbade the people to travel to a hostile country carrying copies of the Quran. Chapter 130. The recitation of Takbir, Allahu Akbar, in the war. Narrated Anas. The Prophet reached Khaybar in the morning while the people were coming out carrying their spades over their shoulders. When they saw him, they said, this is Muhammad and his army. Muhammad and his army. So they took refuge in the fort. The Prophet raised both his hands and said, Allahu Akbar, Khaybar is ruined, for when we approach a nation, enemy to fight, then miserable is the morning of the warred ones. Then we found some donkeys which we killed and cooked. The announcer of the Prophet announced, Allah and his apostle forbid you to eat donkey's meat. So all the pots, including their contents, were turned upside down. Chapter 131. Raising the voice when saying Takbir. Narrated Abu Musa al-Ashari. We were in the company of Allah's messenger during Hajj. Whenever we went up a high place, we used to say, none has the right to be worshipped but Allah, and Allah is greater. And our voices used to rise. So the Prophet said, O people, be merciful to yourselves. Yet don't raise your voice, for you are not calling a deaf or an absent one, but one who is with you. No doubt, he is all hearer, even near to all things. Ever near to all things. Chapter 132. Reciting Subhanallah when going down a valley. Narrated Jabir bin Abdullah. Whenever we went up a place, we would say Allahu Akbar, yeah, Allah is greater. And whenever we went down a place, we would say Subhanallah. Chapter 133. To say Takbir on ascending a high place. Narrated Jabir. Whenever we went up a place, we would say Takbir, and whenever we went down, we would say Subhanallah. Narrated Abdullah bin Umar. Whenever the Prophet returned from the Hajj or the Umrah or a Ghazwa, he would say Takbir thrice. Whenever he came upon a mountain path or wasteland, and then he would say, none has the right to be worshipped but Allah alone. who has no partner. Ali, the kingdom belongs to him, and all the praises are for him, and he is omnipotent. We are returning with repentance, worshipping, prostrating ourselves, and praising our Lord. Allah fulfilled this promise, granted victory to his slave, and he alone defeated all the clans. Chapter 134. A traveler is granted reward. Narrated Ibrahim Abu Ismail as-Saksaki. I heard Abu Burda, who accompanied Yazid bin Abi Kabsha on a journey. Yazid used to observe fasting on journeys. Abu Burda said to him, I heard Abu Musa several times saying that Allah's apostle said, when a slave falls ill or travels, then he will get reward similar to that he gets for good deeds practiced at home when in good health. Chapter 135. Traveling alone. Narrated Jabir bin Abdullah. On the day of the Battle of the Trench, the Prophet wanted somebody from amongst the people to volunteer to be our reconnoitre. As-Zubayr volunteered. He demanded the same again, and As-Zubayr volunteered again. Then he repeated the same demand thrice, and As-Zubayr volunteered once more. The Prophet then said, every prophet has a disciple, and my disciple is As-Zubayr. Narrated Ibn Umar. From the Prophet, the following hadith number 242, narrated Ibn Umar. The Prophet said, if the people knew what I know about traveling alone, then nobody would travel alone at night. Chapter 136. Hastening in travel. Narrated Hisham's father. Usama bin Zayd was asked at what pace the Prophet rode during Hajjat ul-Wada. He rode at a medium pace, but when he came upon an open way, he would go at full pace. Narrated Aslam. While I was in the company of Abdullah bin Umar on the way to Mecca, he received the news of the severe illness of Safiya bint Abi Ubaid, his wife. So he proceeded at greater speed, and when the twilight disappeared, he dismounted and offered the Maghrib and Isha prayers together and said, I saw the Prophet delaying the Maghrib prayer to offer it along with the Isha when he was in a hurry on a journey. Narrated Abu Hurairah. Allah's Messenger said, journey is a piece of torture, for it disturbs one's sleep, eating and drinking. So when you fulfill your job, you should hurry up to your family. Chapter 137. If someone gives his horse for Allah's cause, and then he sees it being sold. Narrated Abdullah bin Umar. Umar bin al-Khattab gave a horse to be ridden in Allah's cause, and then he found it being sold. He intended to purchase it, so he consulted Allah's Messenger, who said, don't buy it and don't take back your gift of charity. Narrated Aslam. I heard Umar bin al-Khattab saying, I gave a horse to be ridden in Allah's cause, and the person who got it intended to sell it or neglected it, so I wanted to buy it as I thought he would sell it cheap. I consulted the Prophet, who said, do not buy it even if for 1 dirham, because he who takes back his gift is like a dog swallowing its vomit. Chapter 138. Participation in Jihad with parents' permission. Narrated Abdullah bin Amr. A man came to the Prophet, asking his permission to take part in Jihad. The Prophet asked him, are your parents alive? He replied in the affirmative. The Prophet said to him, then exert yourself in their service. Chapter 139. Hanging of bells round the necks of camels. Narrated Abu Bashir al-Ansari. That he was in the company of Allah's Messenger. On some of his journeys, the sub-narrator Abdullah adds, I think that Abu Bashir also said, and the people were at their sleeping places. Allah's Apostle sent a messenger ordering, there shall not remain any necklace or of string or any other kind of necklace round the necks of camels, except it is cut off. Chapter 140. If a man has enlisted himself in the army and then his wife goes out for Hajj. Narrated Ibn Abbas. That he heard the Prophet saying, it is not permissible for a man to be alone with a woman, and no lady should travel except with a muram, her husband or a person whom she cannot marry, in any case forever, e.g. her father, brother, etc. Then a man got up and said, O Allah's Messenger, I am enlisted in the army for such and such Ghazwa, and my wife is proceeding for Hajj. Allah's Messenger said, go and perform the Hajj with your wife. Chapter 141. The Spy. Narrated Ubaydullah bin Abi Rafi. I heard Ali saying, Allah's Messenger sent me As-Subayr and Al-Miqdad. Some were saying, proceed till you reach Ravdat Kak. There you will find a lady with a leather. Take the leather from her. So we set out, and our horses ran at full pace till we got at Ar-Ravda, where we found the lady, and said to her, take out the leather. She replied, I have no leather with me. We said, either you take out the leather or else we will take off your clothes. So she took it out of her braid. We brought the leather to Allah's Messenger, and it contained a statement from Al-Hatib bin Abi Balta to some of the Meccan pagans, informing them of some of the intentions of Allah's Messenger. Then Allah's Messenger said, O Hatib, what is this? Hatib replied, O Allah's Messenger, don't hasten to give your judgment about me. I was a man closely connected with the Quraysh, but I did not belong to this tribe, while the other emigrants with you had their relatives in Mecca who would protect their dependents and property. So I wanted to recompense for my lacking blood relation to them by doing them a favor, so that they might protect my dependents. I did this neither because of disbelief, not apostasy, nor out of preferring kufr, disbelief, to Islam. Allah's Messenger said, Hatib has told you the truth. Umar said, O Allah's Apostle, allow me to chop off the head of this hypocrite. Allah's Messenger said, Hatib participated in the battle of Badr, and who knows, perhaps Allah has already looked at the Badr warriors and said, do whatever you like, for I have forgiven you. Chapter 142. Providing the prisoners of war with clothes. Narrated Jabir bin Abdullah. When it was the day of the Battle of Badr, prisoners of war were brought, including Al-Abbas, who was undressed. The Prophet looked for a shirt for him. It was found that the shirt of Abdullah bin Ubayd would do, so the Prophet let him wear it. That was the reason why the Prophet took off and gave his own shirt to Abdullah. The narrator adds, he had done the Prophet some favor for which the Prophet liked to reward him. Chapter 143. The superiority of the one through whom a man embraces Islam. Narrated Saul. On the day of the Battle of Khaybar, the Prophet said, tomorrow I will give the flag to somebody who will be given victory by Allah, and who loves Allah and His Apostle, and and is loved by Allah and His Apostle. So the people wondered all that night as to who will receive the flag, and in the morning everyone hoped that he would be that person. Allah's messenger asked, "Where is Ali?" He was told that Ali was suffering from eye trouble, so he applied saliva to his eyes and invoked Allah to cure him. He at once got cured, as if he had no ailment. The Prophet gave him the flag. Ali said, "Should I fight them till they become like us, Muslim?" The Prophet said, "Go to them patiently and calmly till you enter the land. Then invite them to Islam and inform them what is enjoined upon them. For by Allah, if Allah gives guidance to somebody through you, it is better for you than possessing red camels." Chapter 144. The Prisoners of War in Chains. Narrated Abu Huraira. The Prophet said, "Allah wonders at those people who will enter paradise in chains." Chapter 145. The superiority of the people of the scriptures, Jews and Christians who embrace Islam. Narrated Abu Burda's father. The Prophet said, 3 persons will get their reward twice. One is a person who has a slave girl, and he educates her properly and teaches her good manners properly without violence, and then marries her. Such a person will get a double reward. Another is a believer from the people of the scriptures, who has been a true believer, and then he believes in the Prophet Muhammad. Such a person will get a double reward. The third is a slave who observes Allah's rights and obligations and is sincere to his master. Chapter 146. Probability of killing the babies and children. Narrated Asab bin Jatama. The Prophet passed by me at a place called Al-Abwa or Wadan, and was asked whether it was permissible to attack the pagan warriors at night with the probability of exposing their women and children to danger. The Prophet replied, "They, women and children, are from them, pagans." I also heard the Prophet saying, "The institution of Hima is invalid except for Allah and His Apostle." As above, Hadith 3012. Chapter 147. Killing the children in the war. Narrated Abdullah. During some of the Ghazawat of the Prophet, a woman was found killed. Allah's Messenger disapproved the killing of women and children. Chapter 148. Killing the woman in the war. Narrated Ibn Umar. During some of the Ghazawat of Allah's Messenger, a woman was found killed, so Allah's Messenger forbade the killing of women and children. Chapter 149. Not to punish with Allah's punishment. Narrated Abu Huraira. Allah's Messenger sent us in a mission, an army unit, and said, "If you find so and so and so and so, burn both of them with fire." When we intended to depart, Allah's Messenger said, "I have ordered you to burn so and so and so and so, and it is none but Allah who punishes with fire. So if you find them, kill them, don't burn them." Narrated Ikrimah. Ali burned some people, and this news reached Ibn Abbas, who said, "Had I been in his place, I would not have burnt them." As the Prophet said, "Don't punish anybody with Allah's punishment." No doubt, I would have killed them. For the Prophet said, "If somebody, a Muslim, discards his religion, kill him." Chapter 150. Allah's statement, "Thereafter is the time either for generosity or ransom, according to what benefits Islam." Chapter 151. Is it legal for a Muslim captive to kill or deceive those who have captured him, so that he may save himself from the infidels? Chapter 152. If a mushrik burns a Muslim, should he be burnt in retaliation? Narrated Anas bin Malik. A group of 8 men from the tribe of Ukil came to the Prophet, and then they found the climate of Medina unsuitable for them. So they said, O Allah's Messenger, provide us with some milk. Allah's Apostle said, I recommend that you should join the herd of camels. So they went and drank the urine and the milk of the camels as a medicine, till they became healthy and fat. Then they killed the shepherd and drove away the camels, and they became unbelievers after they were Muslims. When the Prophet was informed by a shouter for help, he sent some men in their pursuit, and before the sun rose high they were brought, and he had their hands and feet cut off. Then he ordered for nails which were heated and passed over their eyes, and they were left in the Hara, rocky land in Medina. They asked for water, and nobody provided them with water till they died. Abu Kilaba, a sub-narrator, said, they committed murder and theft and fought against Allah and His Apostle, and spread evil in the land. Chapter 153. Narrated Abu Hurairah. I heard Allah's Messenger saying, Ant bit a prophet amongst the prophets, and he ordered that the place of the ants be burnt. So Allah inspired to him, it is because one ant bit you that you burnt a nation amongst the nations that glorify Allah. Chapter 154. The burning of houses and date palms. Narrated Jarir. Allah's Messenger said to me, will you relieve me from Dhul Khalasa? Dhul Khalasa was a house of an idol belonging to the tribe of Qatam, called Al-Kaaba al-Yamaniya. So I proceeded with 150 cavalrymen from the tribe of Amas, who were excellent knights. It happened that I could not sit firm on horses, so the Prophet stroked me over my chest till I saw his finger marks over my chest. He said, O Allah, make him firm, and make him a guiding and rightly guided man. Jarir proceeded towards that house, and dismantled and burnt it. Then he sent a messenger to Allah's Apostle, informing him of that. Jarir messenger said, by him who has sent you with the truth, I did not come to you till I had left it like an emancipated or gabby camel, yet completely marred and spoiled. Jarir added, the Prophet asked for Allah's blessings for the horses and the men of Amas 5 times. Narrated Ibn Umar. The Prophet burnt the date palms of Bani al-Nadir. Chapter 155. Killing a sleeping mushrik. Narrated Al-Bara bin Asib. Allah's Messenger sent a group of Ansari men to kill Abu Rafi. One of them set out and entered the enemy's fort. That man said, I hid myself in a stable for their animals. They closed the fort gate. Later they lost a donkey of theirs, so they went out in its search. I too went out along with them, pretending to look for it. They found the donkey and entered their fort, and I too entered along with them. They closed the gate of the fort at night and kept its keys in a small window where I could see them. When those people slept, I took the keys and opened the gate of the fort and came upon Abu Rafi and said, O Abu Rafi, when he replied to me, I proceeded towards the voice and hit him. He shouted and I came out to come back, pretending to be a helper. I said, "Oh Abu Rafi," changing the tone of my voice. He asked me, "What do you want?" "Woe to your mother." I asked him, "What has happened to you?" He said, "I don't know who came to me and hit me." Then I drove my sword into his belly and pushed it forcibly till it touched the bone. Then I came out, filled with puzzlement, and went towards a ladder of theirs in order to get down, but I fell down and sprained my foot. I came to my companions and said, "I will not leave till I hear the wailing of the woman." So I did not leave till I heard the woman bewailing Abu Rafi. The merchant Puff Hijaz. Then I got up, feeling no ailment, and we proceeded till we came upon the Prophet and informed him. Narrated Al-Bara bin Asib. Allah's Messenger sent a group of the Ansar to Abu Rafi. Abdullah bin Atiq entered his house at night and killed him while he was sleeping. Chapter 156. Do not wish to meet the enemy. Narrated Salim Abu al-Nadir. The freed slave of Umar bin Ubaydullah. I was Umar's clerk. Once Abdullah bin Abi Aufa wrote a letter to Umar when he proceeded to Al-Haruriya. I read in it that Allah's Messenger, in one of his military expeditions against the enemy, waited till the sun declined, and then he got up amongst the people, saying, "O people, do not wish to meet the enemy, and ask Allah for safety. But when you face the enemy, be patient, and remember that paradise is under the shades of swords." Then he said, "O Allah, the revealer of the Holy Book, and the mover of the clouds, and the defeater of the clans, defeat them and grant us victory over them." Yes. Narrated Abu Hurairah. The Prophet said, "Do not wish to meet the enemy, but when you face the enemy, be patient." 157, chapter 157. War is deceit. Narrated Abu Hurairah. The Prophet said, "Khosraw will be ruined, and there will be no Khosraw after him, and Caesar will surely be ruined, and there will be no Caesar after him, and you will spend their treasures in Allah's cause." He called war is deceit. Narrated Abu Hurairah. Allah's Messenger called war is deceit. Narrated Jabir bin Abdullah. The Prophet said, "War is deceit." Chapter 158. Telling lies in war. Narrated Jabir bin Abdullah. The Prophet said, "Who is ready to kill Ka'b bin al-Ashraf, who has really hurt Allah and his apostle?" Muhammad bin Maslama said, "O Allah's Messenger, do you like me to kill him?" He replied in the affirmative. So Muhammad bin Maslama went to him, Ka'b, and said, "This person, the Prophet, has put us to task and asked us for charity." Yes. Ka'b replied, "By Allah, you will get tired of him." Muhammad said to him, "We have followed him, so we dislike to leave him till we see the end of his affair." Muhammad bin Maslama went on talking to him in this way till he got the chance to kill him. Chapter 159. Killing non-Muslim warriors secretly. Narrated Jabir. The Prophet said, "Who is ready to kill Ka'b bin Ashraf, a Jew?" Muhammad bin Maslama replied, "Do you like me to kill him?" The Prophet replied in the affirmative. Muhammad bin Maslama said, "Then allow me to say what I like." The Prophet replied, "I do, I love you." Chapter 160. what tricks and means of security may be adopted. Narrated Abdullah bin Umar Dra. Once Allah's messenger, accompanied by Ubay bin Ka'b, set out to Ibn Sayyad. He was informed that Ibn Sayyad was in a garden of date palms. When Allah's messenger entered the garden of date palms, he started hiding himself behind the trunks of the palms, while Ibn Sayyad was covered with a velvet sheet, with murmurs emanating from under it. Ibn Sayyad's mother saw Allah's messenger and said, "O Saf, this is Muhammad." So Ibn Sayyad got up. Allah's messenger said, if she had left him in his state, the truth would have been clear. Chapter 161. The recitation of poetic verses in the war. Narrated Al-Bara. I saw Allah's messenger on the day of the battle of the trench, carrying earth till the hair of his chest were covered with dust, and he was a hairy man. He was reciting the following verses of Abdullah bin Rawaha. O Allah, were it not for you, we would not have been guided, nor would we have given in charity, nor prayed. So bestow on us calmness, and when we meet the enemy, then make our feet firm. For indeed, yet if they want to put us in affliction, want to fight against us, we would not flee, but withstand them. The Prophet used to raise his voice while reciting these verses. See Hadith number 432, volume 5. Chapter 162. Whosoever is unable to sit firm on a horse. Narrated Jarir. Allah's messenger did not screen himself from me since my embracing Islam, and whenever he saw me, he would receive me with a smile. Once I told him that I could not sit firm on horses. He stroked me on the chest with his hand and said, O Allah, make him firm and make him a guiding and rightly guided man. Chapter 163. The treatment of a wound with the ashes of a mat. Narrated Abu Hasim. The people asked Sal bin Sa'd as-Sa'idi with what thing medicine was the wound of Allah's apostle treated. He replied, there is none left living amongst the people who knows it better than Ali used to bring water in his shield, and Fatima, the Prophet's daughter, used to wash the blood off his face. Then a mat of palm leaves was burnt, and its ash was inserted in the wound of Allah's apostle. Chapter 164. What quarrels and differences are hated in the war. Narrated Abu Burda. That his father said, the Prophet sent Mu'ad and Abu Musa to Yemen, telling them, treat the people with ease and don't be hard on them. Give them glad tidings and don't fill them with aversion, and love each other and don't differ. Narrated Al-Bara bin Asib. The Prophet appointed Abdullah bin Jubair as the commander of the infantry men archers, who were 50 on the day of the battle of Uhud. He instructed them, stick to your place and don't leave it even if you see birds snatching us, till I send for you. And if you see that we have defeated the infidels and made them flee, even then you should not leave your place till I send for you. Then the infidels were defeated. By Allah, I saw the women fleeing, lifting up their clothes, revealing their leg bangles and their legs. So the companions of Abdullah bin Jubair said, the booty, O people, the booty. Your companions have become victorious. What are you waiting for now? Abdullah bin Jubair said, have you forgotten what Allah's messenger said to you? They replied, by Allah, we will go to the people, the enemy, and collect our share from the war booty. But when they went to them, they were forced to turn back defeated. At that time, Allah's messenger in their rear was calling them back. Only 12 men remain with the Prophet, and the infidels martyred 70 men from us. On the day of the battle of Badr, the Prophet and his companions had caused the pagans to lose 140 men, 70 of whom were captured and 70 were killed. Then Abu Sufyan asked thrice, "Is Muhammad present among these people?" The Prophet ordered his companions not to answer him. Then he asked thrice, "Is the son of Abu Kuhafa present amongst these people?" He asked again thrice, "Is the son of Al-Khattab present amongst these people?" He then returned to his companions and said, "As for these men, they have been killed." Umar could not control himself and said to Abu Sufyan, "You told a lie. By Allah, O enemy of Allah, all those you have mentioned are alive, and the thing which will make you unhappy is still there." Abu Sufyan said, Our victory today is a counterbalance to yours in the battle of Badr, and in war the victory is always undecided and is shared in turns by the belligerents, and you will find some of your killed men mutilated, but I did not urge my men to do so, yet I do not feel sorry for their deeds. After that, he started reciting cheerfully, "O Hubal, be high." On that the Prophet said to his companions, "Why don't you answer him back?" They said, "O Allah's Messenger, what shall we say?" He said, "Say Allah is higher and more sublime." Then Abu Sufyan said, "We have the idol Al-Uzza, and you have no Uzza." The Prophet said to his companions, Why don't you answer back? Why don't you answer him back?" They asked, "O Allah's Messenger, what shall we say?" He said, "Say Allah is our helper, and you have no helper." Chapter 165. If the people get frightened at night. Narrated Anas. Allah's Messenger was the most handsome, most generous, and bravest of all the people. Once the people of Medina got frightened hearing an uproar at night. So the Prophet met the people while he was riding an unsaddled horse belonging to Abu Talha, and carrying his sword slung over his shoulder. He said to them, "Don't get scared, don't get scared." Then he added, "I found it, he had the horse very fast." Chapter 166. Shouting Ya Sabaha. Narrated Salama. I went out of Medina towards Al-Gaba. When I reached the mountain path of Al-Gaba, a slave of Abdur Rahman bin Auf met me. I said to him, "Woe to you, what brought you here?" He replied, "The she-camels of the Prophet have been taken away." I said, "Who took them?" He said, "Ghatafan and Fasara." So I sent 3 cries, "O Sabaha, O Sabaha," so loudly that made the people in between Medina's 2 mountains hear me. Then I rushed till I met them, after they had taken the camels away. I started throwing arrows at them, saying, "I am the son of Al-Aqwa, and today perish the mean people." So I saved the camels from them before the robbers could drink water. When I returned driving the camels, the Prophet met me. I said, "O Allah's Messenger, those people are thirsty, and I have prevented them from drinking water." So send some people to chase them. The Prophet said, "O son of Al-Aqwa, you have gained power over your enemy, so forgive them. Besides, those people are now being entertained by their folk." Chapter 167. Saying, "Take it, I am the son of so and so." Narrated Abu Ishaq. A man asked Al-Bara, "O Abu Umara, did you flee on the day of the battle of Hunayn?" Al-Bara replied while I was listening, "As for Allah's Messenger, he did not flee on that day." Abu Sufyan bin al-Harith was holding the reins of his mule, and when the pagans attacked him, he dismounted and started saying, "I am the Prophet, and there is no lie about it. I am the son of Abdul Muttalib." On that day, nobody was seen braver than the Prophet. Chapter 168. If the enemy is ready to accept the judgment of a Muslim. Narrated Abu Sa'id al-Khudri. When the tribe of Bani Qurayza was ready to accept Sa'd's judgment, Allah's messenger sent for Sa'd, who was near to him. Sa'd came riding a donkey, and when he came near, Allah's messenger said to the Ansar, "Stand up for your leader." Then Sa'd came and sat beside Allah's messenger, who said to him, "These people are ready to accept your judgment." Sa'd said, "I give the judgment that their warriors should be killed and their children and women should be taken as prisoners." The Prophet then remarked, "O Sa'd, you have judged amongst them with or similar to the judgment of the King Allah." Chapter 169. The killing of a captive. Narrated Anas bin Malik Ra. Allah's messenger entered Mecca in the year of the conquest of Mecca, wearing a helmet over his head. After he took it off, a man came and said, "Ibn Khattal is clinging to the curtains of the Kaaba." The Prophet said, "Kill him." Chapter 170. The performance of a two rakat salat before being put to death. Narrated Abu Huraira. Allah's messenger sent a Sariya of 10 men as spies under the leadership of Asim bin Thabit al-Ansari, the grandfather of Asim bin Umar al-Khattab. They proceeded till they reached Hada, a place between Usfan and Mecca, and their news reached a branch of the tribe of Hudayl called Bani Lihion. About 200 men, who were all archers, hurried to follow their tracks till they found the place where they had eaten dates they had brought with them from Medina. They said, "These are the dates of Yatrib, Medina," and continued following their tracks. When Asim and his companions saw their pursuers, they went up a high place and the infidels circled them. The infidels said to them, "Come down and surrender, and we promise and guarantee you that we will not kill any one of you." Asim bin Thabit, the leader of the Sariya, said, "By Allah, I will not come down to be under the protection of infidels. O Allah, convey our news to your Prophet." Then the infidels threw arrows at them till they martyred. Asim, along with 6 other men, and 3 men came down, accepting their promise and convention, and they were Kubayb al-Ansari and Ibn Datina, and another man. So when the infidels captured them, they undid the strings of their bows and tied them. Then the third of the captives said, "This is the first betrayal by Allah, I will not go with you. No doubt these, namely the martyred, have set a good example to us." So they dragged him and tried to compel him to accompany them, but as he refused, they killed him. They took Kubayd and Ibn Datina with them and sold them as slaves in Mecca, and all that took place after the Battle of Badr. Kubayb was bought by the sons of Al-Harith bin Amir. bin Nawfal bin Abd Manaf. It was Kubayb who had killed Al-Harith bin Amir on the day of the Battle of Badr, so Kubayb remained a prisoner with those people. Narrated As-Suri. Ubaydullah bin Liyal said that the daughter of Al-Harith had told him, when those people gathered to kill Kubayb, he borrowed a razor from me to shave his pubes, and I gave it to him. Then he took a son of mine while I was unaware. When he came upon him, I saw him placing my son on his thigh, and the razor was in his hand. I got scared so much that Kubayb noticed the agitation on my face and said, "Are you afraid that I will kill him?" "No, I will never do so. By Allah, I never saw a prisoner better than Kubayb." By Allah, one day I saw him eating a bunch of grapes in his hand while he was chained in irons. And there was no fruit at that time in Mecca. The daughter of Al-Harith used to say, it was a boon Allah bestowed upon Kubayb when they took him out of the sanctuary of Mecca to kill him outside its boundaries. Kubayb requested them to let him offer 2 rakat prayer. They allowed him, and he offered 2 rakat and then said, "Hadn't I been afraid that you would think that I was afraid of being killed, I would have prolonged the prayer. Oh Allah, kill them all with no exception." He then recited the poetic verse, "I being martyred as a Muslim do not mind how I am killed in Allah's cause, for my killing is for Allah's sake, and if Allah wishes He will bless the amputated parts of a torn body." Then the son of Al-Harith killed him. So it was Kubayb who set the tradition for any Muslim sentenced to death in captivity to offer a 2 rakat prayer before being killed. Allah fulfilled the invocation of Asim bin Thabit on that very day on which he was martyred. The Prophet informed his companions of their news and what had happened to them. Later on, when some infidels from Quraysh were informed that Asim had been killed, they sent some people to fetch a part of his body, he said, by which he would be recognized. That was because Asim had killed one of their chiefs on this day of the Battle of Badr. So a swarm of wasps resembling a shady cloud was sent to hover over Asim and protect him from their messenger, and thus they could not cut off anything from his flesh. Chapter 171. The Freeing of a Captive. Narrated Abu Musa. The Prophet said, "Free the captives, feed the hungry, and pay a visit to the sick." Narrated Abu Juhayfa. I asked Ali, "Do you have the knowledge of any divine inspiration besides what is in Allah's book?" Ali replied, "No, by him who splits the grain of corn and creates the soul. I don't think we have such knowledge, but we have the ability of understanding which Allah may endow a person with, so that he may understand the Quran, and we have what is written in this paper as well." I asked, "What is written in this paper?" He replied, "There were regulations of blood money, the freeing of captives, and the judgment that no Muslim should be killed for killing an infidel." Chapter 171. The Freeing of a Captive. Narrated Abu Musa. The Prophet said, "Free the captives, feed the hungry, and pay a visit to the sick." Narrated Abu Juhayfa. I asked Ali, "Do you have the knowledge of any divine inspiration besides what is in Allah's book?" Ali replied, "No, by him who splits the grain of corn and creates the soul. I don't think we have such knowledge, but we have the ability of understanding which Allah may endow a person with, so that he may understand the Quran, and we have what is written in this paper as well." I asked, "What is written in this paper?" He replied, "The regulations of blood money, the freeing of captives, and a judgment that no Muslim should be killed for killing an infidel." Chapter 172. The Ransom of Al-Mushrikun. Narrated Anas bin Malik. Some Ansari men asked permission from Allah's Messenger, saying, "O Allah's Messenger, allow us not to take the ransom of our nephew, Al-Abbas." The Prophet replied, "Do not leave a single dirham thereof." In another narration, Anas said, "Some wealth was brought to the Prophet from Bahrain. Al-Abbas came to him and said, "O Allah's Messenger, give me some of it, as I have paid my and Aqil's ransom." The Prophet said, "Take and give him in his garment." Narrated Jubair, who was among the captives of the Battle of Badr. I heard the Prophet reciting Surat At-Tur in the Maghrib prayer. Chapter 173. If an infidel warrior comes in an Islamic territory. Narrated Salama bin al-Aqwa. An infidel spy came to the Prophet while he was on a journey. The spy sat with the companions of the Prophet and started talking, and then went away. The Prophet said to his companions, "Chase and kill him." So I killed him. The Prophet then gave him the belongings of the killed spy in addition to his share of the war booty. Chapter 174. One should fight for the protection of the dhimmi. Narrated Amr bin Maymun. Umar, after he was stabbed, instructed his would-be successor, saying, "I urge him, the new caliph, to take care of those non-Muslims who are under the protection of Allah and his apostle, in that he should observe the convention agreed upon with them, and fight on their behalf to secure their safety, and he should not overtax them beyond their capability." Chapter 175. The presents given to the foreign delegations, to the foreign delegates. Chapter 176. Can one intercede for the dhimmi or deal with them? Narrated Sa'id bin Jubair. Ibn Abbas said, "First day, what great thing took place on first day." Then he started weeping till his tears wetted the gravels of the ground. Then he said, "On first day, the illness of Allah's Messenger was aggravated, and he said, 'Fetch me writing materials, so that I may have something written to you after which you will never go astray.' The people present there differed in this matter, and people should not differ before a prophet. They said, 'Allah's Messenger is seriously sick.' The Prophet said, 'Let me alone, as the state in which I am now is better than what you are calling me for.' The Prophet on his deathbed gave 3 orders, saying, 'Expel the pagans from the Arabian Peninsula, respect and give gifts to the foreign delegates, as you have seen me dealing with them.' I forgot the 3rd order. Yaqub bin Muhammad said, I asked Al-Mughira bin Abdur Rahman about the Arabian Peninsula, and he said, it comprises Mecca, Medina, Al-Yamama, and Yemen. Yaqub added, and Al-Arj, the beginning of Tihama. Chapter 177. Sprucing oneself up before receiving a delegation. Narrated Ibn Umar. Umar saw a silken cloak being sold in the market, and he brought it to Allah's Messenger and said, O Allah's Messenger, buy this cloak and adorn yourself with it on the Eid festivals and on meeting the delegations. Allah's Messenger replied, This is the dress for the one who will have no share in the hereafter, or this is worn by one who will have no share in the hereafter. After some time had passed, Allah's Messenger sent a silken cloak to Umar. Umar took it and brought it to Allah's Messenger and said, O Allah's Messenger, you have said that this is the dress of that who will have no share in the hereafter, or this is worn by one who will have no share in the hereafter. Yet you have sent me this. The Prophet said, I have sent it so that you may sell it or fulfill with it some of your needs. Chapter 178. How to present Islam to a non-Muslim boy. Narrated Ibn Umar. Umar and a group of the companions of the Prophet set out with the Prophet to Ibn Sayyad. He found him playing with some boys near the hillocks of Bani Maghala. Ibn Sayyad at that time was nearing his puberty. He did not notice the Prophet's presence, till the Prophet stroked him on the back with his hand and said, Ibn Sayyad, do you testify that I am Allah's Messenger? Ibn Sayyad looked at him and said, I testify that you are the apostle of the illiterates. Then Ibn Sayyad asked the Prophet, Do you testify that I am the apostle of Allah? The Prophet said to him, I believe in Allah and His apostle. Then the Prophet said to Ibn Sayyad, What do you see? Ibn Sayyad replied, True people and false ones visit me. The Prophet said, Your mind is confused as to this matter. The Prophet added, I have kept something in my mind for you. Ibn Sayyad said, It is Audiobook. The Prophet said to him, Shame be on you, you cannot cross your limit. On that Umar said, O Allah's Messenger, allow me to chop his head off. The Prophet said, If it should be him, Ad-Dajjal, then you cannot overpower him, and should he not be him, then you are not going to benefit by murdering him. Narrated Ibn Umar. Later on, Allah's Messenger once again went along with Ubay bin Ka'b to the garden of date palms, where Ibn Sayyad was staying. When the Prophet entered the garden, he started hiding himself behind the trunks of the date palms, as he wanted to hear something from the Ibn Sayyad before the latter could see him. Ibn Sayyad was lying in his bed, covered with a velvet sheet, from where his murmurs were heard. Ibn Sayyad's mother saw the Prophet while he was hiding himself behind the trunks of the date palms. She addressed Ibn Sayyad, O Saf, and this was his name. Ibn Sayyad got up. The Prophet said, Had this woman left him to himself, he would have revealed the reality of his case. Then the Prophet got up amongst the people, glorifying Allah as he deserves. He mentioned Ad-Dajjal, saying, I warn you about him, Ad-Dajjal, and there is no prophet who did not warn his nation about him, and Noah warned his nation about him. But I tell you a statement which no prophet informed his nation of. You should understand that he is a one-eyed man, and Allah is not one-eyed. Chapter 179. The saying of the Prophet sauce to the Jews, Embrace Islam and you will be safe. Chapter 180. If some people in a hostile non-Muslim country embrace Islam and they have possessions. Narrated Usama bin Zayd. I asked the Prophet during his Hajj, O Allah's Messenger, where will you stay tomorrow? He said, Has Aqil left for us any house? He then added, Tomorrow we will stay at Kaif bin Bani Kinana. al-Muhasab, where the pagans of Quraysh took an oath of kufr to be loyal to heathenism. In that, Bani Kinana got allied with Quraysh against Bani Hashim on the terms that they would not deal with the members of the Ist tribe or give them shelter. Al-Suri said, Kaif min Valley, see Hadith number 659, volume 2. Narrated Aslam. Umar bin al-Khattab appointed a freed slave of his called Hunay, manager of the Hima, a pasture devoted for grazing the animals of the Zakat, or all the specified animals. He said to him, O Hunay, don't oppress the Muslims and ward off their invocations against you, for the invocation of the oppressed is responded to by Allah, and allow the shepherd having a few camels and those having a few sheep to graze their animals, and take care not to allow the livestock of Abdur Rahman bin Auf and the livestock of Uthman bin Affan, for if their livestock should perish, then they have their farms and gardens, while those who own a few camels and those who own a few sheep, if their livestock should perish, will bring their dependents to me and appeal for help, saying, O chief of the believers, O chief of the believers, would I then neglect them? No, of course. So I find it easier to let them have water and grass rather than to give them gold and silver from the Muslims' treasury. By Allah, these people think that I have been unjust to them. This is their land, and during the pre-Islamic period they fought for it, and they embraced Islam willingly, while it was in their possession by him in whose hand my life is. Were it not for the animals in my custody, which I give to be ridden for striving in Allah's cause, I would not have turned even a span of their land into a hima. Chapter 81. The listing of the people by the Imam. Narrated Hudayfa. The Prophet said to us, list the names of those people who have announced that they are Muslims. So we listed 1,500 men. Then we wondered, should we be afraid of infidels, although we are 1,500 in number? No doubt we witnessed ourselves being afflicted with such bad trials that one would have to offer the prayer alone in fear. Narrated Al-Amas. We listed the Muslims and found them 500, and Abu Muawiyah said between 600 to 700. Narrated Ibn Abbas. A man came to the Prophet and said, O Allah's Messenger, I have enlisted in the army for such and such Ghazwa, and my wife is leaving for Hajj. Allah's Messenger said, go back and perform Hajj with your wife. Chapter 182. Allah may support the religion with the Fajr. Narrated Al-Suri. As follows in Hadith 297, narrated Abu Hurairah. We were in the company of Allah's Messenger in a Ghazwa, and he remarked about a man who claimed to be a Muslim, saying, this man is from the people of the hellfire. When the battle started, the man fought violently till he got wounded. Somebody said, O Allah's Messenger, the man whom you decided as being from the people of the hellfire fought violently today and died. The Prophet said, he will go to the hellfire. Some people were on the point of doubting the truth of what the Prophet had said. While they were in this state, suddenly someone said that he was still alive, but severely wounded. When night fell, he lost patience and committed suicide. The Prophet was informed of that, and he said, Allah is greater, and testify that I am Allah's slave and his apostle. Then he ordered Bilal to announce amongst the people, "None will enter paradise but a Muslim, and Allah may support this religion, yea Islam, even with a disobedient man." Chapter 183. To take over the leadership of the army during a battle when there is danger. Narrated Anas bin Malik. Allah's messenger delivered a sermon and said, "Zayd received the flag and was martyred. Then Jafar took it and was martyred. Then Abdullah bin Rawaha took it and was martyred. And then Khalid bin al-Walid took it without being appointed, and Allah gave him victory." The Prophet added, "I am not pleased, or they will not be pleased, that they should remain alive with us," while his eyes were shedding tears. Chapter 184. Supporting with reinforcements. Narrated Anas. The people of the tribes of Ril, Dakwan, Usiyah, and Bani Lihian came to the Prophet and claimed that they had embraced Islam, and they requested him to support them with some men to fight their own people. The Prophet supported them with 70 men from the Ansar, whom we used to call Al-Qura, scholars who out of piety used to cut wood during the day and pray all the night. So those people took the 70 men till they reached a place called Bir Mana, where they betrayed and martyred them. So the Prophet invoked evil on the tribe of Ril, Dakwan, and Bani Lihian for 1 month in the prayer. Narrated Qatada. Anas told us that they, Muslims, used to recite a Quranic verse concerning those martyrs, which was, "O Allah, let our people be informed on our behalf that we have met our Lord, who has got pleased with us and made us pleased." Then the verse was cancelled. Chapter 185. Staying in the enemy town for 3 days. Narrated Abu Talha. Whenever the Prophet conquered some people, he would stay in their town for 3 days. Chapter 186. The distribution of the war booty after a Ghazwa. Narrated Anas. The Prophet performed Umrah, setting out from Al-Jarana, where he distributed the war booty of Hunayn. Chapter 187. If al-Mushrikun take the property of a Muslim as war booty. Narrated Nafi Ra. A horse of Ibn Umar fled and the enemy took it. Then the Muslims conquered the enemy and the horse was returned to him during the lifetime of Allah's Messenger. And also, once a slave of Ibn Umar, Ra, fled and joined the Byzantines. And when the Muslims conquered them, Khalid bin al-Walid returned the slave to him after death of the Prophet. Narrated Nafi. Once a slave of Ibn Umar fled and joined the Byzantine, Khalid bin al-Walid got him back and returned him to Abdullah bin Umar. Once a horse of Ibn Umar also ran away and followed the Byzantines, and he, Khalid, got it back and returned it to Abdullah. Narrated Ibn Umar. That he was riding a horse on the day the Muslims fought against the Byzantines, and the commander of the Muslim army was Khalid bin al-Walid, who had been appointed by Abu Bakr. The enemy took the horse away, and when the enemy was defeated, Khalid returned the horse to him. Chapter 188. Speaking with an unfamiliar accent. Narrated Jabir bin Abdullah. I said, "O Allah's Messenger, we have slaughtered a young sheep of ours, and have ground one saw of barley, so I invite you along with some persons." So the Prophet said in a loud voice, O the people of Trench, Jabir had prepared Sud, so come along. Narrated Khalid. The daughter of Khalid bin Said, I went to Allah's Messenger with my father, and I was nearing a yellow shirt. Allah's Messenger said, Sana, Sana. Abdullah the narrator said that Sana meant good in the Ethiopian language. I then started playing with the seal of prophethood in between the prophet's shoulders, and my father rebuked me harshly for that. Allah's Messenger said, leave her, and then Allah's Messenger invoked Allah to grant me a long life by saying thrice, wear this dress till it is worn out, and then wear it till it is worn out, and then wear it till it is worn out. The narrator adds, it is said that she lived for a long period wearing that yellow dress till its color became dark because of long wear. Narrated Abu Huraira. Al-Hasan bin Al took a date from the dates of the Sadaqah and put it in his mouth. The Prophet said to him in Persian, Kak, kak. Yeah, don't you know that we do not eat the Sadaqah? Yeah, what is given in charity? Charity is the dirt of the people. Chapter 189. Al-Gulul, stealing from the war booty. Narrated Abu Huraira. The Prophet got up amongst us and mentioned Al-Gulul, emphasized its magnitude, and declared that it was a great sin, saying, don't commit Gulul, for I should not like to see anyone amongst you on the day of resurrection carrying over his neck a sheep that will be bleating, or carrying over his neck a horse that will be neighing. Such a man will be saying, O Allah's Messenger, intercede with Allah for me. And I will reply, I can't help you, for I have conveyed Allah's message to you, nor should I like to see a man carrying over his neck a camel that will be grunting. Such a man will say, O Allah's Apostle, intercede with Allah for me. And I will say, I can't help you, for I have conveyed Allah's message to you. Or one carrying over his neck gold and silver, and saying, O Allah's Messenger, intercede with Allah for me. And I will say, I can't help you, for I have conveyed Allah's message to you. Or one carrying clothes that will be fluttering, and the man will say, O Allah's Messenger, intercede with Allah for me. And I will say, I can't help you, for I have conveyed Allah's message to you. Chapter 190. A Little Gulul. Narrated Abdullah bin Amr. There was a man who looked after the family and the belongings of the Prophet, and he was called Karkara. The man died, and Allah's Messenger said, he is in the hellfire. The people then went to look at him and found in his place a cloak he had stolen from the war booty. Chapter 191. Not to slaughter the camels and sheep of the booty before distribution. Narrated Abaya bin Rifa. My grandfather Rafi said, we were in the company of the Prophet at Dhul Hulayfa, and the people suffered from hunger. We got some camels and sheep as booty, and the Prophet was still behind the people. They hurried and put the cooking pots on the fire. When he came, he ordered that the cooking pots should be upset, and then he distributed the booty amongst the people, regarding 10 sheep as equal to 1 camel. Then a camel fled, and the people chased it till they got tired, as they had a few horses for chasing it. So a man threw an arrow at it and caused it to stop with Allah's permission. On that the Prophet said, some of these animals behave like wild beasts, so if any animal flee from you, deal with it in the same way. My grandfather asked the Prophet, We hope or are afraid that we may meet the enemy tomorrow and we have no knives. No knives. Can we slaughter our animals with canes? Allah's messenger replied, if the instrument used for killing causes the animal to bleed profusely, and if Allah's name is mentioned on killing it, then eat its meat. Yeah, it is lawful, but won't use a tooth or a nail, and I am telling you the reason. A tooth is a bone, and slaughtering with a bone is forbidden, and nail is the slaughtering instrument of the Ethiopians. Chapter 192. The conveyance of the good tidings of victories. Narrated Qais. Jarir bin Abdullah said to me, Allah's messenger said to me, won't you relieve me from Dhul Khalasa? Dhul Khalasa was the house where the tribe of Qatam used to stay, and it used to be called Kabat-ul Yamaniya. So I proceeded with 150 men from the tribe of Amas, who were good cavalry. I informed the Prophet that I could not sit firm on horses, so he stroked me on the chest with his hand, and I noticed his finger marks on my chest. He invoked, O Allah, make him firm and a guiding and rightly guided man. Jarir set out towards that place, dismantled and burnt it, and then sent the good news to Allah's messenger. The messenger of Jarir said to Allah's messenger, O Allah's apostle, by him who has sent you with the truth, I did not come to you till the house had been turned black, like a scabby camel covered with tar. So the Prophet invokes Allah to bless the horses of the men of Amas 5 times. Chapter 193. What may be given to the bringer of glad tidings? Chapter 194. There is no emigration after the conquest. Narrated Ibn Abbas. The Prophet said, on the day of the conquest of Mecca, there is no migration after the conquest, but jihad and good intentions, and when you are called for jihad, you should immediately respond to the call. Narrated Abu Uthman al-Nadi. Mujashi bin Masud took his brother Mujalid bin Masud to the Prophet and said, this is Mujalid, and he will give a pledge of allegiance to you for migration. The Prophet said, there is no migration after the conquest of Mecca, but I will take his pledge of allegiance for Islam. Narrated Atta. I and Ubay bin Umar went to Aisha while she was staying near Tabir, a mountain. She said, there is no migration after Allah gave his Prophet victory over Mecca. Chapter 195. To search the dhimmi woman if there is necessity. Narrated Sa'd bin Ubaidah. Abu Abdurrahman, who was one of the supporters of Uthman, said to Abu Talha, who was one of the supporters of Ali, I perfectly know what encouraged your leader, Ali, to shed blood. I heard him saying, once the Prophet sent me and As-Zubayr saying, proceed to such and such Rauda place, where you will find a lady from whom Hatib has given a letter. So when we arrived at Rauda, we requested the lady to hand over the letter to us. She said, Hatib has not given me any letter. We said to her, take out the letter or else we will strip off your clothes. So she took it out of her braid. So the Prophet sent for Hatib, who came and said, don't hurry in judging me, for by Allah I have not become a disbeliever, and my love to Islam is increasing. The reason for writing this letter was that there is none of your companions but has relatives in Mecca who look after their families and property, while I have nobody there. so I wanted to do them some favor, so that they might look after my family and property. The Prophet believed him. Umar said, "Allow me to chop off his Hatib's neck, as he has done hypocrisy." The Prophet said to Umar, "Who knows, perhaps Allah has looked at the warriors of Badr and said to them, 'Do whatever you like, for I have forgiven you.'" Abdur Rahman added, "So this is what encouraged him, Ali." Chapter 196. The reception of Muslim fighters after Jihad. Narrated Ibn Abi Mulaika. Ibn as-Subayr said to Ibn Jafar, "Do you remember when you and Ibn Abbas went out to receive Allah's messenger?" Ibn Jafar replied in the affirmative. Ibn as-Subayr added, "And Allah's messenger made us, I and Ibn Abbas, ride along with him and left you." Narrated As-Sa'ib bin Yazid. I, along with some boys, went out to receive Allah's messenger at Taniyatal Wada. Chapter 197. What to say on returning from Jihad. Narrated Abdullah. When the Prophet returned from Jihad, he would say Takbir thrice and add, "We are returning, if Allah wishes, with repentance and worshipping and praising our Lord and prostrating ourselves before our Lord. Allah fulfilled his promise and helped his slave, and he alone defeated the infidel clans." Narrated Anas bin Malik. We were in the company of the Prophet while returning from Usfan, and Allah's messenger was riding his she-camel, keeping Safiya bint Huyay riding behind him. His she-camel slipped and both of them fell down. Abu Talha jumped from his camel and said, "O Allah's messenger, may Allah sacrifice me for you." The Prophet said, "Take care of the lady." So Abu Talha covered his face with a garment and went to Safiya and covered her with it. And then he set right the condition of their she-camel, so that both of them rode, and we were encircling Allah's messenger like a cover. When we approached Medina, the Prophet said, "We are returning with repentance and worshipping and praising our Lord." He kept on saying this till he entered Medina. Narrated Anas bin Malik. That he and Abu Talha came in the company of the Prophet, and Safiya was accompanying the Prophet, who let her ride behind him on his she-camel during the journey. The she-camel slipped and both the Prophet and his wife fell down. Abu Talha, the sub-narrator, thinks that Anas said that Abu Talha jumped from his camel quickly, said, "O Allah's messenger, may Allah sacrifice me for your sake. Did you get hurt?" The Prophet replied, "No, but take care of the lady." Abu Talha covered his face with his garment and proceeded towards her and covered her with his garment, and she got up. He then set right the condition of their she-camel, and both of them, the Prophet and his wife, rode and proceeded till they approached Medina. The Prophet said, "We are returning with repentance and worshipping and praising our Lord." The Prophet kept on saying this statement till he entered Medina. Chapter 198. The performance of Salat on returning from a journey. Narrated Jabir bin Abdullah. I was on a journey in the company of the Prophet, and when we reached Medina, he said to me, "Enter the mosque and offer 2 rakat." Narrated Kab. Whenever the Prophet returned from a journey in the forenoon, he would enter the mosque and offer 2 rakat before sitting. Chapter 199. Taking meals on arrival from a journey. Narrated Muharib bin Ditar. Jabir bin Abdullah said, when Allah's Messenger arrived at Medina, he slaughtered a camel or a cow. Jabir added, the Prophet bought a camel from me for 2 uqiyas of gold and 1 or 2 dirhams. When he reached Sirar, he ordered that a cow be slaughtered, and they ate its meat. When he arrived at Medina, he ordered me to go to the mosque and offer 2 rakat, and weighed and gave me the price of the camel. Narrated Jabir. Once I returned from a journey, and the Prophet said to me, offer 2 rakat. Sirar is a place near Medina.